Previously on Twin Portals?
The Silver Waves of Justice, along with Mr. E, were arrested by a City Watch strike force and transported to the deepest dungeons of Castle Waterdeep. Entombed for a 10-day, they were eventually portaled away by the detective Vincent Trench, along with the assistance of the Black Viper, a vigilante heroine revealed to be Lark's mother, Isvel Wavesilver. Isvel informs SWOJ that tonight would be the Castellanter Founders' Day party, a feast to celebrate the city, accompanied by a sacrifice, one shy each of 100 souls and 1 million gold coins, a debt to settle for the souls of Terenzio and Elzarina Castellanter. Determined to stop the demonic plot, SWOJ and Mr. E disguised themselves as entertainment with the help of the Doom Raiders and entered the Castellanter Villa. The discovery of poisoned food quickly led to a bloody confrontation with Lord Victoro Castellanter. SWOJ prevailed, knocking Victoro out, while Zay called to their unicorn friend Lyrian to heal the poisoned water Davians. As the battle ended, Terry arrived with the dragons Zelipharn and Aurinax to secure the estate. In the quiet after the battle, SWOJ heard screams echoing from the Castellanter crypt. Rushing in, they discovered Amalia Castellanter in a bone-chilling negotiation with the Lord of Nine Hells for the souls of her twins. Rather than see their souls sacrificed, Zay stepped forward to sign a new deal with Asmodeus in exchange for the twins' freedom.
All right, so that's my standard intro. All right, so where you left off, you were in the cold and dank crypt, the cellar of the Castellanter Villa. The five of you and Aurinax as a dwarf had walked down to the old shrine where you stumbled upon the bleeding unconscious body of Victoro Castellanter and the sobbing, overcome Amalia Castellanter holding her two children, where they were doing a deal with the devil. Zay just finished signing her contract, which fizzled out of existence as the figure over the pile of gold faded away in a wreath of fire and smoke, laughing softly. It's now quiet in here. The temperature is dropping quickly. All you hear is the soft sounds of the Castellanter family. What do you all do as this contract fizzles out of existence?
Mr. E's going to put some gold in his pocket.
Like right up to the bowl and just start filling it up? The
like
bag of holding is
casually.
also sitting near the bowl.
Did
Open.
anyone take a screenshot of my contract? Anyone pull out their camera? Did anyone have a photographic memory and can tell me the names of my siblings?
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely discoverable information, say.
Excellent.
I wrote it down on a different page, and I'm not willing to turn it back right now.
I have an audio recording of it that I can refer to.
Excellent.
Elka's going to go check out Vittorio, see how unconscious he is, and does he need healing to come back?
And I've been over there. That's where I went immediately.
To Victoro?
Yeah, I boosted a couple rings off him, I think.
And that staff?
I specifically wanted to get the staff away from him, but I haven't. I assume he's unconscious.
He's unconscious and he was holding it.
Okay. I would have moved that out of range, but I don't have it. I probably would have pocketed the rings, and then I would have started tying him with, if he's got extra clothes or something, I just want to restrain his arms behind his back, because magicians be like that. Yeah,
he was like, the classic unconscious, face first, butt up, like hands holding his crotch, just like bleeding out from his wounds.
Like a Metal Gear Solid guard just got knocked out.
Pretty much.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yes. So yeah, that's totally doable. He's not moving.
Okay.
He's taking some gold.
After he was secured, I would continue just like looking for papers, any things in like pockets, stuff like that, and just probably just throwing it on the floor unless something really caught my eye.
Okay.
Zay moves to check on the children.
Oh, and the children are happy to see you. They relax a little bit as you come closer. But they're not like saying hello or talking to you. They're really scared.
I'm going to reach my arms out and hug them.
And they hug you back. And Amalia lets them. She's kind of regarding you with some clarity for the first time right now, and it seems like she has an inkling of like what just happened in her mind, and she's kind of processing it. as she stares at you. And the kids are both just kind of crying and holding you and starting to calm down a little.
Very good.
If Vittorio's good and restrained, I'm going to use some cure wounds on him and see if we can get him back to consciousness. We can have a fun little conversation.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like your spell kind of washes over him at first, and like it takes a moment to sink in. But eventually, you can roll. Is it 1d8 plus your modifier or something like that?
He gets 4 points.
Okay.
You weren't super into it.
Yeah. I don't really like this guy.
That was a nat 1, folks.
And he starts coughing. And he's not really sure what's going on. He's kind of like still tied face down, kind of trying to get his bearings, grunting.
Yeah, I shove him back to sitting, but I'm none too gentle about it.
Okay. Oranax is going over to the gold also, along with E, kind of keeping an eye on E as he pockets some of it. Do you say anything to Victorio, or?
Hey, we just made a deal with the devil and saved your kids, you jackwagon. Let's chat.
He says, you saved them.
I nod. You can't see that I'm nodding. It's a podcast.
He says, how a contract with Asmodeus is unbreakable unless he releases you.
He offered us a replacement contract with us on the line instead of your family.
And he starts to chuckle, and it morphs into a sort of cackle.
I slap him in the face.
He falls over limply.
I'd probably say, yeah, it doesn't really sound good to me now when we put it in those terms either.
He seems a little unhinged right now. Like he's, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
just
kind of
kinda
regretting
like
waking
laughing
him
and
up.
crying and bleeding on the floor. Lark, what about you?
I am going to go up to the door, like the secret entrance to this space. And then for anyone who is coming in, my parents or the city watch or anybody else, direct them down into the space
Okay.
so that we have other witnesses to this whole debacle.
Good plan.
Okay.
And now at this point, I probably would get up and I would have his staff with me. No, so.
Okay.
No,
The
no.
staff feels magical immediately in your hand. You feel poised, elegant even.
Cool.
It's a new feeling.
I'd probably start trying to swing it around a little bit. Like it's a bow staff
You're
instead of
putting
an
on the Ritz or
ornamental staff.
something?
Yeah.
Oh, like a bow staff.
Like,
so you're
yeah, like a, yeah, Donatello type.
Gotcha,
Just
gotcha.
Not great at it, but just slowly swinging around like a 6-year-old with a broomstick.
At this point, as you're walking up the stairs, Lark, Victorio just thumped against the floor wetly again. You hear a muffled bang of a gunshot, and then kind of a soft, and then out of the bag of holding, poof, an imp comes flying out, like with like smoke trailing it, out of the mouth of the bag of holding, the open bag of holding, and kind of lands on the ground near you. And then a rapier kind of sticks out of the hole with a hand coming out of the hole of the bag of holding, stabbing another imp inside of it. And kind of crawling out of the bag of holding into the room is Jarlaxle, the sort of silvery purple-skinned, red-eyed drow with a big hat, not as nice as Lark's, holding a rapier with an imp skewered on it. And he just kind of dusts himself off and looks around the room and kind of grins rakishly.
I do not remember putting any of that stuff in that bag of holding.
Also, isn't it a vacuum in there? How is he breathing?
I was just wondering that. Jarlaxle's
Jarlaxle's amazing.
Do any of you say something? Or
Jarlaxle, welcome. We haven't seen you in a while.
he looks at E and kind of raises his eyebrows when he sees you there. Like he's a little surprised to see you still around.
Hey, Jarlaxle. I've been busy. Here's some gold.
He says, "It's good to see you too, Ilka. E, it's always a pleasure."
Yes, it's always a pleasure to see me.
He says, "I understand this might be confusing. I have a bit of explaining to do. I've always found it convenient to give away bags of holding that have twin portals."
You got Harry Pottered.
I saw the dragons fly overhead from the Sea Maiden's Fair and knew that something was going on, so we checked our opening and saw a way in. So here we are. I see you've already dealt with things, though.
Yes, and here's the horde of dragons.
Well. Lark, are you still here?
I'll come back as soon as if I saw that happening, I'll come back down.
Okay. And he grins and waves at you as well. He says, well, here we are. He just totally ignores the Castellanters. He says, what do you all intend to do with this horde?
Scoot has not stopped rolling his eyes since the twin portals comment.
Like they're rolling up the
He's
stairs
still-
on their own right now.
Oh my god.
I say we're gonna give it all back to the city. All of it that's here.
All of it.
That's we can see right now.
That isn't in your pockets, you mean?
I don't. Theoretically, yes. That's what I'm saying.
Arnex nods vehemently. He says, well, we took the liberty, when you were taken prisoner, a 10-day ago, to extract some of your things from the bag so that the Castellanters wouldn't have access to it. And he kind of gestures, and a few more drow start crawling out of the bag of holding. What the? Felrecht, Lafine, a few others.
Getting ring vibes here.
Getting what?
Ring group vibes.
They all have long hair.
The drow hair is like hanging down over their face.
They're all wet for some reason.
No, they're very dry, in fact, especially the one holding a little pillow with the Stone of Galore on it, which he holds
thank
out
goodness.
for anyone who wants to take it. He says, these are yours. The Book of Shadows is one of them carrying as well.
I gifted that.
To the dragon?
No,
To
or to
Yilka,
the
we were
SWOJ.
thinking would
To
want
SWOJ,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
I thank you. I guess we'll. Do we have anything to wrap the Stone of Galore up in?
Yeah, I have something amongst my pouches.
Okay.
So I gingerly squeezed the children one last time and move them over by their mother and pull a hanky out of my pouches and wrap the Stone of Galore in it and put it back in like a little leather pouch.
I have a question, Jarlaxle, about the twin portals. How does this work? So there's a portal at the bottom of our bag of holding that connects to some other bag of holding?
He says, that's right. I have another bag attuned to the same pocket dimension.
Oh my goodness. So if we ever needed to visit you, you couldn't really stop us. We could just jump in our bag of holding and crawl up.
Only if my bag is open.
Oh, interesting. So the portal is open when the bag is open.
Correct.
So if we had been down here and we had one of our first actions were to close the bag of holding, you would have not been able to get here?
He says, possibly, although I didn't make the bag, so I have my tricks.
Oh, all right. That's pretty awesome.
He says, it's quite handy.
Is that legal? Seems like entrapment or something like that.
It's only entrapment if we shut the
hear
bag.
if we've been in trouble, and then he would know. But golly, there are some times we were in trouble, and certainly help was not forthcoming.
Yeah, we had the bag of holding with us. It's interesting.
He says, you maybe have some questions right now, but I assure you that I've only ever wanted our partnership to be mutually beneficial.
Okay, I believe you.
Okay, U.S. government.
Speaking of, I have one last condition, one last token that I would like to obtain as a marker of our partnership.
We do have an extra SWOJ t-shirt, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But that's not what I meant.
Oh,
Could I have one, though?
yeah, absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Take it out of the bag of holding. Here you go.
He says, I'm willing to let you take the gold, take all the credit. None of that's important to me anymore. If you allow me to leave with the mask that you took from the necromancer.
I was just thinking about that, actually. I'm okay with this condition if you tell me what the mask is.
He says, do you get involved in politics much?
I
Try not to.
I try not to, but I mean, I am one of the noble families, a part of one of the noble families, so it's hard to avoid sometimes.
He narrows his eyes and looks at you for a second. And he kind of curses under his breath. And it looks like he's looking past you. It's not really clear what he's seeing. He says, this mask that you were given could get you killed if anyone knew that you had it. Could get me killed if anyone knew that I had it.
That's what the necromancer kind of hinted at.
It's one of the masks of the Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh. I thought it was a mask of making you slightly taller.
Well, it is that too. It has many uses, really.
Yeah. Like I was thinking of all of the ways it would be helpful if I needed to reach something on a high shelf or whatever.
I could get you some boots that do that.
Oh.
So
I'm
You could
fine.
also use little dinky.
That's right.
Yeah, I have a little dinky now, so less need for the mask of making you slightly taller. Sorry, Zay, you were going to say something?
I feel like it seems like a good idea for us to know someone who can disguise themselves as a masked lord of Overdeep. Overdeep?
Waterdeep.
We're going to rename it. That's the first. That's the first request. Waterdeep.
I'll just retcon, go back and re-edit every Waterdeep mention for the past 28 episodes.
I have one more question. I will let you know that I'm leaning towards being okay with this deal. My next question is, why does the necromancer have one of the masks? Is the necromancer one of the masked lords?
There are more drow coming out of the hole as you're talking. They're kind of surrounding you a little bit ominously as this is going down. They're all like festooned with like guns and rapiers and swords. Very piratical. He says, that is a good question. And if he had it, why wasn't he using it?
Yeah.
Then he does a weird thing. He grabs you by the shoulders, Lark, if you let him.
Yeah.
And he looks into your eyes and he says, if you want it back, come and get it. And he's not even talking to you. He's like looking past you when he says that. He says, I'm not afraid of you. You have no power over me. And then he lets you go.
Are you like inextricably connected now that you're a clone? Like the necromancer like made your body, right?
I don't know. I got the sense that Jarlaxle was not speaking sternly to me, but also he might have been. So, yeah, that was really weird, Jarlaxle, and it didn't really help answer my question. Okay, yeah, you can.
He says, I would assume he obtained it through blackmail.
Oh. Okay. Well, I trust you more than Nancy, so that I'm fine with you having the mask.
Very well. Where is it?
I think it's in the bag of holding, which I feel like if you would have opened up the portal, all of our stuff would have fallen up into your bag somehow.
That was more of a DM question. I wasn't sure if we ever decided where you put it, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of the drow, the last one coming out, was like, here it is. I was like, oh, great. Well, that solves that problem.
I've been shaking down the various drow for my concertina.
Oh, okay, yeah. One of the earlier ones brought it up, so they're happy to give it to you. Felrek gives it to you, actually.
Good. I sling it on and fiddle with the buttons and feel happier.
Okay. Very well. He says, well, do you need any help here? Or otherwise, before the city watch comes down or anyone else, we should probably make scarce again. I just wanted to make sure that we concluded this part of our agreement.
So to be clear, Jarlaxle, you no longer want the gold given in your name to the city.
Correct. I mean, if you want to, I wouldn't say no, but I understand you've done a lot of work here. You really played your part in the game, so.
Neat.
I have two things. One is we had to help the Castellanters' children not have their souls forfeit. We had to sign a contract with Asmodeus, perhaps unwisely, but we did. It was kind of like we had to make a quick decision.
He gets wide-eyed when you say that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And part of the deal is that we have 13 Founders Days to free Zay's 6 siblings, whose names are this. Scott edited the 6 names right here. So those are the 6 names.
Were you a modem just now?
That's what recorded sounds sound like.
Yeah, 2,400 baud modem sounds are the sound of Scott editing.
Yeah. I'm gonna hand you the paper and insert sound of dot matrix printer.
So those are her siblings. Do you have any information? Like, do those names sound familiar to you, or are there things that we should be thinking about in terms of how to go about freeing them or reasons that we shouldn't?
He says, I'm sorry, but I've never heard any of those names before.
Okay.
I could do some digging
Yeah, that'd be great.
in the histories of the Underdark.
Does
that I had
Zay's face look
access
familiar to you at all? Have you ever seen it before? I mean, other than our meeting?
He just beams at Zay.
She beams right back.
He says, it's always looked familiar since I first met her, but I can't say why.
Okay, thanks. Then my second question is, would Zardoz be willing to make an appearance at the short rest sometime in the near future if you were throwing some sort of celebratory bash?
He says, yes, and my entire entourage, as many as you can fit.
Aw, yeah, thanks.
We have parade floats, animals, entertainers.
Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
That sounds amazing.
Troll Skull Alley. Take over the whole thing.
Yes. I love it. Thank you, Jarlaxle.
You start to hear footsteps from up above. There's like more folks are coming down. And he does a little like hand signal. And all the drow start diving back into the bag of holding, like swan diving.
That's so weird.
One by one, like a synchronized swimming act or something.
I'm
Does
trying
it
to
make any sound? Does it splash?
Oddly enough, there's no sound. It's as if they're going through both holes, like portal style. So it's just
Yeah.
like, "Vroom."
You looked so excited about the prospect of a splash.
Have you ever done a thing where like you have a trash bag that rips and you're trying to pour the contents into another bag, and so you're trying to like hold the mouth of the bag, the second bag open?
That's what you're
Yes.
doing. To the
That's
bag
yeah.
of
I'm
holding?
trying to hold the mouth of the bag of holding open in such a way that they can dive in without it like catching, a shoulder catching on the lip of the bag and turning it inside out. And I don't know what happens if the bag goes through the other portal. What happens? It seems like it would be a
They
mess.
appreciate it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And Jarlaxle's the last one out, as you hear guards coming down the stairs through the secret door up above.
I've been playing a concertina cover of I Come From a Land Down Under.
Oh, nice. Da, 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 da.
And the Mortal Kombat theme comes on for some reason.
Was that what that sounded like?
Yeah, I think it's close. Never
Now I'm
mind.
hungry for a Vegemite sandwich.
Are you though?
No, definitely not.
And Jarlaxle gives one last bow to Oranax on his way out and says, I trust you'll keep this a secret. And Oranax doesn't respond, just kind of regards Jarlaxle as he plugs his nose and jumps through the pole.
Scoot says splash.
Cannonball!
Yeah. He says, fare thee well.
Goodbye, Zardos.
I'll see you soon.
I scoop up the bag and kind of start feeling it. I'm very curious how this thing works.
Oh, it's very soft. It feels like it's empty from the outside. Wow. Yeah.
It's
Pocket
handy to have a
dimension.
twin portal. I just said that so I could see Scott's
You just said that so all the
reaction.
listeners at home could take a shot.
If you hear heavy breathing, listeners, that's Scott's nostrils fully flared.
It's not heavy breathing. It's a deep sigh. Thanks. Not out of breath. I'm just overtly pissed.
Just out of patience.
Fucking
All right.
3 years later.
And a combination of City Watch and Magisters, like clerics, start coming down, and they stand up Amalia and Victoro and start bringing them back up. They check you all to make sure that you're okay. Do you have anything to say, any messages for the city folk before they clear the area out and start to cordon it off?
It's just City Watch. It's not like, I don't know, someone important in charge.
Not yet. No, it's just like an advanced team.
Is it the City Watch that was all working for the Castle Hunters?
Not clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
You don't
I was
have like a
concerned about that
roster,
too.
so yeah, it's a little weird. Like maybe that's a cleanup crew for the Castlanters. It's not really.
Are there any of the City Watch or the Magisters that we recognize and trust?
Let's say yes. Olcoria Stone Marrow is one of them.
Okay, I'm going to flag down Olcoria Stonemarrow and explain the whole thing that just happened. I explain about the Dragon Horde and the embezzled funds and how we found the vault, and I explain about the Castlanters and their deal with Asmodeus, and I do it in a really fast manner before they are able to be taken completely out of the space.
Okay, so once the Castlanters are like both tied up and the kids are being ushered upstairs as well, Olcoria flags down the crew that's like taking stock of the gold and all the demonic shit that's everywhere, and she listens to your story.
And I also point out in the story that a whole bunch of the City Watch were working for the Castlanters.
And when you get to that point, she sort of tenses up and she nods and says, this crew are all right. They're from my district.
Oh, great.
But yes, I've heard the rumors, so we'll have to do a bit of a sweep of the staff after this. See who's on their dime. I assume they have ledgers. So thank you for letting us know. I'm sorry that you were locked up twice.
Gave me a chance to get a little buff. I sort of flex.
Yeah. She
And
says,
grow
yeah,
that mustache.
and your beard is coming in
Yeah.
beautifully.
Beautifully?
Your lip beard.
Yeah, it's all beards to dwarves.
Sure.
Your upper lip beard. So, what do you want to do with all that gold?
We got to get it to... she doesn't say anything about
I
it?
suppose she says, I suppose we need to get this gold out of here securely. Orinax, that's her name, and Orinax steps forward. She says, would you be willing to escort this crew to the castle Waterdeep if we put the gold back in the bag of holding?
That's a great idea, Korea. What does the dragon say?
And Orinax nods and says, of course.
Great.
It's my solemn duty.
What about the twin portal? You could just open it on the other end.
I hope they close the bag on the other side. It all just falls through.
He could
He
for a
could
while,
have, yeah,
though.
he didn't.
Because we had to get it
Yeah,
out of
that's
the
true.
first place.
Yep.
If there's any missing, it probably fell out that other hole. Mr. E says as he clanks around.
Just here to make sure we don't have any money.
Yeah, do you want to roll 2d10 and then
Oh, you confused
let's
them.
do some math, Robert. We haven't done any die rolls yet.
Yeah.
2d10 and then a d6 also. What'd you get?
17 total.
What was the d6 number?
4.
4.
So 13 and 4. So you have pocketed about,
It's 52.
thank you, 520 gold coins. Yes. Really, like as this all was going down, Lark was telling the whole story
Is
of
that
the
gonna
last
slow
couple
down
weeks.
my speed?
Significantly, I would assume.
You're pretty buff, so it might make your breakdancing more difficult. Are you introducing yourself as Laffy the Clown or E at this point?
I've
your pseudonym?
re-cornrowed my hair.
Gotcha.
And kind of started to wipe off the makeup.
All right.
Your robe has really deep
Are you
pockets.
proficient in cornrowing? Because that takes a while.
I was going to say, that was a really productive
I've been
6
wearing
seconds.
my hair like that for a long time.
You got like 20 dexterity, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, probably fine.
Superhuman cornrows. So, as you're packing up the gold back in the bag, you see more folks coming down and checking and seeing what's going on. It's not just City Watch people. It's also sort of adventurer types looking in. And you see that many of them are wearing these silver harp brooches on their capes. It's the harpers that moved in as well. And they're sort of cordoning out the place.
Are Bricks and Bracks there? Because I got a thing to say to those
You don't
two.
see them. No, you don't see them.
Yeah, she's still in jail, presumably.
Yeah. Yeah, is she?
Ramalia.
Amalia's not there?
You don't
Ramalia?
you don't see her. From the basement.
Right.
I give what I assume would be a secret signal to the Harpers, but it's just me like flapping my hand.
Like angels in the outfield style.
I want it to look like a really cool Harper, what Lark imagines to be a Harper's secret hand signal to one of the Harpers. Did any of them react?
Yeah, this half-orc kind of blinks and looks at you and just nods and kind of doesn't return. Confused looking, but willing to play along.
So I go over to that half-orc and whisper that Bricks and Bracks, I don't know if you know them, they're Harpers too. Oh no, they were City Watchmen.
They were Harper allies.
Oh, okay, Harper allies. Bricks
Yep.
and Bracks turned out to be working for the Castle Lanters, and Ramali got thrown in prison. You might already know all of this stuff, but I just wanted to make sure that the Harpers knew. And I put my finger on the side of my nose and wink, but with both eyes because I'm really bad at winking.
Folks like, are your eyes okay?
That was a secret blink.
Oh, he does it too. He says, all right, well, I don't know all the details of Amalia's situation, but we know about Bricks and Bracks.
Okay, great.
They are no longer members of the Harpers. They were traitors from the start, it seems. That or they were blackmailed.
Do you have any other concerns about the rest of the Harpers here?
Well, as much as I have concerns about anyone, but we're an organization built on trust, so
How does that work out for you?
usually pretty well.
Works out for us. It's pretty great.
What are you getting at?
I don't know. It just seems like there should have been something other than trust, like maybe some background checks or something. 'Cause I clearly
of
didn't work.
trust.
It didn't work so
He
well.
says, we went over Bricks and Bracks' backgrounds and they checked out, so
Oh,
it must have been
man.
something more recent that weighed on them.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure.
Brixalia and Braxamath. They both come from reputable households. They had no reason to betray Romalia as far as we know.
Oh, crazy times. All right, I'll do another hand signal and then go lead the guy to whatever he was doing.
Okay. What about the rest of y'all?
I'm trying to stay kind of still so I don't jangle.
Sure. Roll dexterity.
Shit.
I looked it up, and it's just under 11 pounds.
Yeah, that's fine. Coins are pretty lightweight.
Okay.
Yeah. Jangly, but lightweight.
Yeah, so I'm like having my hands over those pockets.
Gotcha.
Zay would like to go check on Terry.
Like mentally or physically?
Physically.
Okay. Zay, you go back upstairs, and it seems like the healing effort is going well. It's about midnight at this point. You see Lyrian and Romalia Haventree is up there as well, kind of coordinating the Harper effort up above. And
So she's out of jail.
she's in house arrest.
Oh, she's in house arrest. Okay.
And so, yeah, somehow she's free now. And she runs over to you and gives you a hug and apologizes for what happened a 10-day ago and thanks you profusely for everything that just happened tonight. You saved all these people. It's incredible.
I hug her back and say, really, it was Lyrian.
She nods and says, thank you, Lyrian. Lyrian is like a little bit transparent, kind of ghostly at this point, like starting to fade from this world. Your unicorn pendant is out of lights at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But Lyrian nods and kind of stomps her hoof a little.
I run to embrace her.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of gives you the unicorn equivalent of a hug, presses her head down. And you feel an immediate sense of calm and peace, tranquility. And Lyrian says to you, I don't have long, but it was good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, my friend.
She says, I'll see you again at the summer solstice.
Yes.
When this world again, I've got it written down here, when this world again turns near to the wilds beyond sight.
I look forward to it.
And then Lyrian kind of does a canter around, make sure everything's okay. Nobody's dying actively. And then kind of starts to run upwards towards the moon again as she disappears.
Wow.
There's kind of a gasp from the crowd, yeah. And like a silvery rain kind of falls down for a minute behind her.
Unicorn magic.
Mm-hmm.
Do we lose anyone of the many poisoned party guests?
No,
Nice.
It seems like everyone is alive. Some people are very injured, mostly from the earthquake spell, or some are very sick, the more elderly folks. But
So much experience from this quest. 100% survivors.
Right. So
yeah.
Are you all coming up the stairs?
We've got all the gold. Sounds 11 pounds packed into a bag.
I've stashed one ring in each pocket so they don't jangle, and I'm trying to be real cool about the fact that I'm walking with Vitoro's staff.
I'm going to be playing some Fleetwood Mac to kind of cover up the jangling sound so that people think it's a tambourine.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I walk in rhythm now.
You do like the NASA astronaut crew
Oh,
bus
yeah.
takeoff kind of walk out of the mansion.
Oh, like the Suicide Squad strut.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
coming down.
Yeah.
But
Great.
still also trying to be cool about the staff, trying to like hide it mostly behind my arm, but part of it's peeking up behind my shoulder. I'm just,
And there's a shout and a cheer from the crowd as they see you all coming out, and sort of like a SWOJ, thank you.
At
Everyone's
that point, I raised my arms, including the staff, up over my head.
Oh yeah, and
totally
Zelfarn's
forgetting what
towering over the crowd, and he's like the loudest voice of all of them, and he's like, yeah, SWOJ.
I flip on the bass bellows and play louder.
Doom Raiders chime in from far away.
Suddenly it's Queen at Wembley.
Yeah. More people are swarming the villa from around. The city watcher kind of trying to keep things orderly. Oranax kind of leans in as you're walking out and is like, we should probably get out of here before we get too swarmed with all of this gold. Just saying. We don't know what other players are here.
It's a good idea.
Is flying Zelfarn still here?
Oh, yeah. Zelfarn's there.
Cool. I think we should leave on Zelfarn. He should fly us out of here.
Can we ride a dragon? Is that a thing?
If he'll allow it.
Oh
Is
my
he-
god.
Is he big enough to carry all of us?
Aren't
gonna
there
ask
two
him?
Sorry,
dragons?
Mr. E.
There's two dragons.
There are two dragons, yeah.
Oh, there's two. Oh, that would be pretty.
Oranax leans in towards E and says, you seem kind of heavy. You can ride my back if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not you, Guillermo.
I climb on before
Oh my
he's
gosh, this is
transitioned.
so majestic.
So I'm like climbing on this
He's like,
guy's
"Whoa, whoa,
back.
Oh, okay. And then boom, this dragon kind of expands under you.
Yeah, and I'm like, look what I did.
I
go,
how people
"Yeehaw!"
react to that.
Zay approaches Zelopharn and says, "May we?"
And Zelopharn leans down and says, "Of course, SWOJ forever, SWOJ forever."
And then I'm gonna try to connect with Terry. Terry,
Like, shh, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
awesome. We'll meet you back at Troll Skull.
You got it.
Wait, are we going to the Troll Skull or are we going to the castle?
Oh, we have to go to Castle Waterdeep.
That's what Okoria suggested. Yep.
Oh, sure. Should we? Well, we can still meet him back at Troll Skull.
Sure. We're headed to
Afterwards.
the castle, but we can meet you there later.
Yeah.
Let's have him go to the castle and not assume the dragon's going to fly us around Waterdeep for
Yeah.
the evening.
Yeah.
Oh, just in case Terry needs to get us home.
Yeah. So that's a great idea, Scoot.
And then I throw the horns up at the Doom Raiders like, yeah, rock on. Because I want them to keep playing after we leave.
Sure.
And then we all fly away on dragons. The end. No.
Da, da. And the mingling strains of the concertina and the Doom Raiders kind of part ways as you all take off over the skies of Waterdeep, flying around the God Hand and the different stone statues on your way west towards the mountain where Castle Waterdeep kind of towers over the city. There's still fireworks going off around the city. It's still Founders Day, so it's a beautiful sight. You can see the whole city kind of lit up all around you, especially in the Sea Ward where all of this just went down. It seems like people are flocking with torches and lanterns to see what's going on because there's rumors of a dragon spreading around the city. They're like, no, it's not just a firework. It's a real one this time.
Can we all raise our fists like in Neverending Story?
Yeah.
Yes, Falcor.
And I see somebody who bullied me, and I swoop down.
He jumps into the dumpster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really get that nameless NPC. Show him what's up. Okay, this guy's got backstory now. It's a half elf minor lordling who just really wouldn't like give you a break.
Yeah, he would steal my lunches.
Yeah, what a dick. Okay.
Chase you into bookstores.
None of
Okay.
that's going to make any sense to people who haven't seen Neverending Story. I love it so much.
I feel like the people listening to this have seen that movie.
They are our crew.
If y'all haven't, it's one that I've seen and I can recommend.
The book is good too.
Yeah. So at Castle Waterdeep, kind of looking over the sea, the tallest tower is a big old castle keep spire. With near the top, there's a big old balcony kind of projecting out over the sea that's big enough for two dragons to land on. And you're met there by an entourage that seems like it was waiting for you, oddly enough. There's a sort of small contingent of guards, as well as 4 masked figures that match Lark when he put that mask on. People in purple robes, about 7 feet tall, seem impassive, and they kind of hold their arms out in unison to greet you. It's very culty.
Ooh,
Zay
creepy.
whispers, Zardos.
You don't get a response.
Okay.
What do you say? Anything? As you
They're
arrive?
holding their arms out like stop.
No, like a welcome, and then
Oh, I
they
see.
lower their arms.
Hi, masked lords.
One of them steps forward and says, we've heard that you've recovered the lost gold of Daggled Neverember.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What do you plan to do with this treasure?
Oh, we're giving it back to the city.
All of it.
We want it distributed to the people.
Do you have any designs for how that will be achieved?
We thought about dropping it from a really high height from a dragon.
That sounds dangerous, but effective.
Could we do it through a tax break?
Maybe
We-
stimulus checks.
We could fix the sewer system. Spend a lot of time down there.
And one of them nods and looks at another of the masked lords, and that one's like, ugh. And they're like, yeah, it's been a priority for a long time.
It sounds like you want us to be administrators now.
No, we just want to make sure that your wishes are upheld since you've done this great service to the city. For that matter, do you require a finder's fee?
Yes.
We're prepared to
Yes.
offer you up to 50,000, 1/20th of the gold, according to our old ledgers.
It's 25,000 each.
Yeah, 25,000 each sounds great. masked lords. I do have a question. As a part of this conversation, I would love if we could also have the open lord, in this conversation.
The one in front sort of lowers their head and says, Laeral Silverhand is not available at this time.
Oh, we can come back, or we can wait. Like, do you have a waiting room? We could just hang. I mean, is she just out for?
She says for the foreseeable future.
Oh, that sounds ominous.
It's city business.
Okay. City business. Is that in the papers? I'm just kind of curious. Seems like the open lord being gone for the foreseeable future is kind of a big deal.
Laeral sometimes leaves the city. It's not unusual.
Okay. Narratively convenient for you, but whatever.
Well, it is. It's not like, as far as you can tell, she's been gone for a while. But like, they're not. Yeah, they're not
Yeah, it
acknowledging
seems
that.
suspicious.
Yeah.
Like she left after we spoke with her last.
The one in front says, "Look, can I speak to you in confidence?" And he looks at the two dragons, and they both nod. He says, "Since you've done this city such a service, the truth is that Laeral's been missing since the spring equinox, or shortly after. We haven't let the city know yet, for fear that it could cause panic or uncertainty. We're hoping that she returns soon, but we don't know where she is."
Has she gone away without any warning in the past?
From time to time.
For this long?
Never for this long.
What's the longest she's been away?
Let's see. Let me check my history book. He says, we don't keep that close of a record of her movements, but perhaps a 10-day or two, as travel requires.
Are you hoping we'll go find her?
He says, or they say, you're welcome to. Again, we don't know why she's missing yet, so I can't say if there's foul play afoot. But soon we'll have to break the news to the public or start using a stand-in. So we would certainly appreciate it.
I'd like to discuss with my cohort.
Please. Please.
Okay, so we can hand the gold over to 4 anonymous people wearing masks and hope that they are in fact connected to the city. We could take it with us to go find Laeral, but I feel like we're just a walking target at that point. Flying, really.
I mean, the fact that there are the masked lords here at Castle Waterdeep makes me think it's the actual. I'm not suspicious that these are not masked lords. I'm not necessarily certain that they're, like they have the best of intentions. Like there are people with suspect intentions on every municipal board. It's just the
There are
real
reasons
world.
they wear masks. Yagra told us.
What did Yagra say?
There's reason that they wear masks.
Oh, right.
Behind them, you can see, like, it looks like a council chamber. There's like a long table with like at least a dozen chairs, presumably where the council meets at the top of this tower.
Yeah, I think we're meant to think that this is the real.
Probably legit.
Yeah.
Do the masked lords in front of us match the masked lords that are painted inside the hall?
It's just all the same painting.
Over and over.
Yeah, like 1492, 1491, 1490. It's the same picture. Yeah.
Masked Lord of the Year, 19.
Yeah, I think we should turn the gold over, and I don't know that we should look for Laeral until we're given a more concrete lead from the DM. But that's
Sure.
I feel like this is
What's a DM, Lark?
The district manager.
yeah, that's
District
what it is.
manager.
District manager.
Okay, I'm down.
They say our plan, if the gold ever turned up, was always to start a system of inquiry, essentially open up petitions to the folk of the city if they had anything taken during the Dragon War to, simply list what it was, provide some kind of evidence or documentation, and then we'd return the value of those lost things.
I guess that sounds fine. I assumed that he embezzled the funds rather from
bureaucracy.
individuals, from like the city coffers. So if it just goes back into the general ledger. As my friend Scoot pointed out, we're not really city administrators, so I don't know how you're.
They say, well, it's a mixture of funds, to be honest. There was some city coffers that were embezzled, and also, it's hard to provide paper documentation sometimes if you're not as well off, and so we tend to open up some grants using some of the money to pay for municipal projects around the
Maybe
poorer
you
districts of
can.
town.
You can.
And it starts to drone on over time.
Maybe you can do a park with some statues and call it the SWOJ.
That's a great idea.
Some playground equipment.
Maybe we can beautify one section of the high road and turn it from less of a thoroughfare into more of a livable space where folks can play and
That would
enjoy
be
the
lovely.
environment.
The
'cause
roundabout.
You could connect the downtown area to the waterfront.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
The docks ward has been, and they start to get all excited. And the docks ward has been so trashed by all this gang warfare. Maybe we could finally.
Okay, so I have a plan. Minus our finder's fee. The remainder should be split exactly in half. One half for whatever betterment to the city is necessary. The other half distributed equally to all citizens.
They look at each other, think for a minute.
Wait a minute. How many people live in Waterdeep?
Yeah, is that going to be like $3?
It's like they each get a half of a gold coin.
300,000 or so is what we established. So that'd be like 1 or 2 gold each.
Per family instead of per person?
Don't forget about the child tax credit.
The statues of us could have water features. I'm just saying. We could be peeing into the
Lark is
pools.
already checking out of this conversation. He's like looking over the edge of the parapet.
About what it would be like to just step forward.
Scoot perked up at the talk.
The ocean is down there.
Scoot perked up at the talk of grant money. He doesn't know why, but then he quickly was lost again.
Maybe an arts grant.
Yeah, something like that. I'm looking at, I don't know, I'm just looking over checking out the city, looking over the balcony and the grants thing. Yeah, do that one. And then I just keep looking back.
Well, they say, I mean, that seems fair, but it depends on the amount of requests that we get from the townsfolk. I believe that not everyone deserves this money in the city of Waterdeep. Some have just arrived. No one, it's not a general fund for everyone in the city. But we want to make sure that people are done right for what they lost in the wars.
Okay, if you don't make a statue of me, I'm going to use my 10,000 gold to make my own.
He says,
Yeah.
we'll need you to
Really
come back
part of
in to get a likeness at some point. But
Yeah,
yes,
I'd
we
like
can
to
make a
fix
statue.
my hair.
You don't want to look like a clown on the statue? Okay.
No.
Oh.
Do I look like a clown to you?
Oh,
Funny, huh?
get his pencil away from him.
Zay starts to yawn. It's been a long day.
Yeah. Well, Oranax says, I'll stay by the castle to make sure that things stay above the board.
Thank you, Oranax.
Zay runs to hug Oranax.
I climb off of him.
You've been up there the whole time?
Yeah, I was on his shoulders. He turned back into a person.
Oh, I've been rolling my beholder die over on the side just because I got bored. But I just had a really good idea looking out over the harbor. Hey, is there anything we can do about the Dragon Ward? Because our friend Zelipharn is a really important member of SWOJ, and it's tough for him to get back to the city because the Dragon Ward is there, and we promised him that we would look into it. And since we have your attention, I would love to do something about the Dragon Ward. I would even forfeit my half, my fifth of the 50,000 gold.
What you look at me for?
Because you made a math joke about it earlier, and I just unintentionally did.
One of the other masked lords steps up and says, we cannot control the Dragon Ward. It was cast by a powerful wizard long ago, before it was activated after the Dragon Wars. It's a mythal, ancient magic. But he looks at Oranax and says, I believe this one is in possession of the dragon staff of the Gairin. And Oranax nods and says, yes, I would be willing to use the staff to let dragons back into the city, to bypass the Dragon Ward. They simply need to touch the staff. In fact, I would prefer to have a neutral party manage the staff, since as a dragon, I could introduce old rivalries or enemies into the discussion. And he kind of looks up at E, who's riding his shoulders right now, and says, you seem to have a pretty good connection to dragons.
Yeah, I can
E.
speak dragon. I'll take that.
He says, you willing to take this responsibility?
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be an administrator?
Wow, that's a terrible idea.
Oranax is like, I have a good feeling about this.
We'll come up with a better title, like Dragon King.
Dragon Master.
Fist of
He says,
Fury.
well, then why don't you stay in the castle with us tonight and we'll talk through this.
Okay.
I think we'll need some council decisions on letting dragons run freely through the city, but we can make something happen for sure.
Sounds good.
I go give Zelipharn a high five.
Oh, and he gives you one right back. Knocks you backwards a little bit.
We did it, Zelipharn, kind of.
With some of my portion of the money, I want to build like a little like nest area for Zelipharn by Troll Skull.
Okay. Well,
So he has
so
a home.
if y'all have ideas for your money now, should we say that y'all go somewhere for the night and figure out ways to
Sure.
Short rest.
Home,
take a short rest or a long
I
rest?
wave
or a
at
short
E. I
rest?
say, enjoy your spreadsheets.
The short rest for a long rest.
Yeah.
Bye, Mr. E. And I try to do the Mr. E middle finger, like double bird, but it's not nearly as cool.
Mr. E finds it really touching. Kind of tears up a little when he
You
does
step
it back.
off the balcony.
Double time.
Wipes a tear off his
Yeah.
eye with the middle finger. Yeah, and the short rest is quiet at this point. The fireworks are starting to die down. It's after midnight. Folks are going home. There's still a commotion in the Sea Ward as you fly past, as folks are, having all their needs and legal claims. And there's a big to-do with all the folks that have been wronged by the Castellanders. They're combing through the manor, as you can see as you fly by.
Oof, those poor kids.
Yeah, the kids, don't see them. Castellanders, you don't see them. And you're able to go to the short rest and take a break. So, do you guys have any immediate things you'd like to do? Otherwise, we can kind of narrate through a few days as you have different plans you want to see through. E, you're welcome to travel to and from the castle. Arnax can give you a ride, so it's not like you're stuck there.
Yeah. There's a statue already being built. There's a bunch of dragons holding me up.
There are a bunch of
as their
aides in the
hero.
castle that are take you to a room and ask you what you need, and you can start ordering them around. And
Oh, yeah, I
getting
have
all
an
this stuff set up.
assistant.
Yeah, assistant administrator of dragon kind. So yeah, different. There's a swarm of reporters outside the short rest in the morning. So, how open are you all about what just happened?
Lark is pretty open about it,
What?
unsurprisingly.
I've already written about 17 stanzas of an epic ballad telling the story.
Sick.
Save it for the party. We're gonna throw a big party,
Oh, nice.
right? With Zardos, he's
Yeah.
gonna start the parade, and so Zay is gonna be searching for people to help design and build something for Zelipharn, so he can go back and forth. Can he get back out of the ward?
Yeah, he's immune to it now at this point.
Oh, okay. So he has a place to stay when he comes to the short rest. But then I also want to start prepping Troll Skull. I'm even going to talk to Froon. Talk about the party that we want to set up that's going to take up all of Troll Skull Alley.
Okay.
Froon's Brews, are you going to ask Froon if people can just park in front of his place or something? Can we store some stuff in your...
Does he want to be a valet for an evening?
Well, so you're quickly tied up in guild business, all the different artisans and masons are all trying to offer you their services with discounts because of what you've done for the city.
Oh, excellent.
The main plan seems to be to turn the attic space of Troll Skull into a big kind of roost, not just for Zelipharn, but also for Sally and her entourage.
Yeah.
Um,
And other dragons that
and
we'll
other
probably want to
dragons.
visit now.
yeah, it's big enough for maybe 3 dragons. It's not a small
Yeah.
dragons are one really big dragon.
Yeah.
And it takes some structural reinforcement, but it's doable.
Are
Froon,
you guys okay with that?
It's going to
Yeah,
smell
you-
really bad, but...
Yeah, and you're going to have to up the pantry if we're feeding dragons too.
And
So-
eggs for Sally.
And a lot of eggs. So we should probably get a chicken coop or something.
I mean, it's
Or
just
some
for
cute-
resting. It's not for living.
Okay.
We're a
I think
way
it sounds
station.
great.
We're a dragon way station.
Right.
Okay, so maybe only Zelipharn can stay there.
Well, but no, it could be you can sell food and drinks to dragons too.
the premier dragon inn
Yeah.
in Waterdeep.
They can stop in and get a huge beer.
And Taga is all about it. She's used to cooking giant, game beasts from her days and out in the wilderness. She's I know all the best recipes for cooking a manticore. Don't worry, this will be great.
Oh my gosh.
Excellent.
And Pog Wiggletop stays up there all the time with a green exclamation mark above his head. Okay.
I am.
So Froon is. Oh, I was going to say really quick. Froon is actually very like chagrined because you all saved his life in the Crasslander Villa. He was there, and so he is very willing to let people park in front of his restaurant, Froon's Brews. In fact, he kind of is very sheepish when you go to see him, and he kind of implies after a lengthy explanation, he's like that he could really use some money. He's actually incurred a lot of debt trying to build up his place and make it so gaudy, and it's not doing the best. And he's wondering if SWOJ would be willing to make an investment in Froon's Brews of about 1,000 gold.
I'll talk to my companions about that and get back to you.
Of course, he understands. Yes, of course.
Once this is all kind of settled, I'm going to start meditating on the contract that I've made.
You see it in your dreams every night, like the text and the contract itself. So it's really easy to recall exactly what it said because you've seen it so many times.
And then also the fact that I can remember my name. So I'll be coming back through my memories to try to remember if there were any hints as to, lockets with wizards in them and statues and things like that. So while other people are also doing things, that's what I'll be trying to remember and focus on.
Scoot, what were you going to do?
First of all, when I'm moving around doing stuff, I am yes-anding every story that I hear about us if I find out the source was Lark.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah, truth or not, it could be totally true, totally false, but that's what I'm yes-anding, is whatever comes up, yep, oh, and you didn't hear about this, ask him about this, just trying to keep the circle going.
Yeah.
I would also like to, if the irregulars are available and looking for something to do, I'm kind of on the hunt for a new weapon. So I would like them, if they have the time and interest, and I would, of course, pay them for their time and efforts, in going around shop keeps, just kind of keeping an ear to ground for different kinds of magic weapons, something that they think might suit me well, and figure out type and price.
Do you have any specifications, like an axe or?
Mostly an axe, but whatever they find available or think is interesting. I'm kind of letting them take a little bit of a point on that too. Just letting them, this is what I'm using now. I kind of like it. If you hear of something like this, let me know.
Okay.
And then I'm probably working part-time behind the bar, just doing stuff around, trying to fix things up too. So.
Sure. The building's getting tons of traffic. You've been totally exonerated in the eyes of the city, so everyone wants to see you and learn what happened. And
at that point, I'm probably a little more grumbly about all the extra hours I have to work because we're so popular. So.
Sure.
Why don't you hire some more people?
That never occurred to me.
You do have you had too many
jealous.
staff before with all the Sea Plum crew that were hanging around.
Oh.
Yeah.
They just drinking in the corner.
Kinda,
Am I running and getting beers for?
Polishing that same window.
So I don't know how Mr. E sent me this message telepathically, but
I came by on a dragon.
he shouted it from the.
Why are you working all the time?
And I stopped midway to the bar. I turn and I throw and I get your own friggin' beers, and then I go back upstairs to my room or something.
What a revelation!
Here's money. Get these people beers too. So
Scoot's not used to being with money. He doesn't know how to act.
no.
So what about E? What's your immediate priority?
So I'm now in charge of letting dragons into the city.
Yeah. You get requests from dragons, storied and legendary sounding names. I don't know how much dragon history you've been privy to.
He's getting filled in on a lot of things. I mean, he's got a lot of dragon friends now.
Are you studying, actively trying to get more on top of the situation too?
Yeah, I think I'm taking it somewhat seriously. Okay. Also, I have people cooking dragon piss in the kitchen.
In the castle, straight up?
Yeah. So that's...
You just turned castle to a friggin' meth lab.
No, I mean, it helps you vision, So I'm using that to also kind of
help me vision once,
get some guidance.
Nice, okay.
Like carrots.
I'm also have feelers out about if people know what happened to Mr. Ziagi.
Yep.
Because now I have a bunch of dragons that can eat those people.
Yeah, and so in the first few days, you don't hear anything about Ziagi, but there are already a few dragon requests that come in, and you meet them, and they're mostly local dragons who've kind of been on the fringes of the city for a while, that have been doing trade and talking to folks from the city and kind of being kind of like Zelifar and near the city, but doing their own thing. And they're very excited to come in. They're all, decent people as far as dragons go. And so.
Yeah, we've set up a vetting process.
Okay. And they're all very eager to partake in the dragon piss if you offer it. Like that's kind of the leveling agent that just gets everyone talking and
Yeah. We do a little sip and it loosens things up.
Yeah. It's like the
and I say this one's free.
Oh God.
What's the I freaking don't know. Oh gosh. Mate. It's like sharing the mate in a circle.
Yeah. So I'm taking the job serious. I'm not gonna let any mean dragons in.
Okay.
Taking it seriously.
Good, because that's what the council.
A drug dealer.
The council came back to you and they were like, "Yeah, our number one request E is that you don't let any mean dragons in."
And I said, "That's good. That's good."
Thank you.
And then there was a request written in blood. I was like, "No way for that one."
It was from Morgathrax, the surgeon dragon,
the heart eater,
really good at hemalurgy and blood transfusions.
I didn't even read it. I just saw it was blood.
If you need special,
crumpled it up.
If you're poisoned, you go to Morgathrax.
It hit the rim of the trash can and bounced off.
Oh, darn.
He was our second call if we couldn't get the unicorn to heal all those people.
That's right.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, all right. So you're already getting some criticism from different dragons, and you're starting to hear some.
I have a dragon council. I counsel them as well.
A council of dragons or about dragons?
Yes, of dragons.
Okay.
Who's better to know?
Right.
I feel like two that we trust deeply.
I feel like you've got 3 iguanas on cages that you're talking to.
Well, Oranax is there too, and Oranax also helps you vet people and goes through what.
Yeah,
he knows.
Yeah, I'm trying to study, but I don't pretend to know.
Yeah.
Everything about dragons, so I trust them, and it's a little overwhelming too. So I stay in my room sometimes.
Sometimes you're just too busy.
Yeah.
Too busy. Quote.
Yeah, they knock, and I'm like, I'm not here.
Very well. Ilka, what about you?
I'm perching in the rafters a lot of the time. I'm triple yes-anding. So as Scoot goes around, I'm taking bits of anything he's saying and sticking it into my music and then singing it at people to just spread this rumor mill like mad around the city. Like larks sprouted horns, people get wings. I'm playing with this as much as I can.
Even the lines that Scoot knows he has said, he is convinced he's hearing for the first time.
Yep.
There are already like stage and song adaptations of your story being made by different bardic troops.
Yeah, they're very winsome. We've got the irregulars in little costumes acting it out in the streets.
Wonderful.
I knew it was a lie to start, but now I'm like 75% sure all of that's true. Horns, all this stuff, even though I just saw them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Why not though?
It's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Meanwhile, when I'm not doing that and when I'm on my own, tiptoeing into this book of shadows to start to learn a bit more about what's inside it and how the heck we got into this mess.
Well, we'll address that in a bit. Lark, what about you?
When Lark is not spinning those tales, and in every way that he can, like drawing little stick figure comics of it and just everything. He is going to also try to connect with his parents and just sort of find out a little bit more about the other family business of masked vigilantism.
Yeah, and you're welcome to back home warmly. All pretense of being kicked out of the house has been dropped. Your parents are both very apologetic for this, the pain and stress they caused. They wanted you to develop an independent spirit is their only rationale for it. And maybe they were too cold in doing so.
Instead, they gave him PTSD. Nice job.
Yeah, they have the Tough Love book on their shelf from the 80s. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we grew up in a different time. I'm sorry.
Not when your room is chicken soup for the soul.
And a pair of bootstraps.
Exactly.
You just pull on them.
They're always just too high for you to reach. You can't quite pull them. The business is improving rapidly in the way of Silver House. The shipping business is taking off all of a sudden. It seems like the pirate attacks have slowed down and the weather has improved. So strangely, things are suddenly a lot easier for the family. So they're seeing a bout of prosperity pretty quickly. But generally, it's a kind of a period of healing for you guys as you reconnect and you spend like more time there, or just like a couple visits? Like, what do you think?
I think maybe I go back regularly once or twice a week.
Okay, yeah. Keep it healthy.
Yeah.
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 And as far as mass vigilantism goes, Isabel is more than happy to teach you everything she knows, and she's eager to. In fact, she's been dying to for a long time.
That's awesome. Yeah, so some of those visits, I would want to do whatever training she was willing to offer.
Yeah, some of those visits like are at midnight, like on the rooftops.
Yes.
Like bouncing around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're creating little comics based on them.
Yeah.
Little how-to comics.
That'd be
No,
cool.
they're never how-to comics. They're
Oh.
always like fantastical adventure comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your superhero names then? The Black Viper and
Silver Ferret.
Silver Ferret? Okay,
Yeah.
keeping it.
And I was all about joining them for these until I heard about the midnight part, and I'm like, ew.
You're sipping your tea at like 9 o'clock. And
Yeah.
you're like,
I got a shawl on.
there's music going on. You're
I
like,
don't
"You're good."
know.
Dolphin
They're not real-
sleeping.
They're not really good about keeping the fire going, so I think I'll stay here and do that.
Guess I'll do some work. Still, they're not keeping the place up to your standards.
I like fire.
If there's time to pursue this path, Zay remembers once upon a time, before she had enough gold to buy it, there was a locket in
Lafoomp's Wonder Emporium.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now that I have some money hopefully left from my rewards after remodeling the manor, I would like to try to hunt that place down with Terry, if we can go together, so I can buy that locket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're able to track it down. When you walk in, Lafoomf is like very obsequious and like kind of scared of you. Not really clear why, but it's still as purple as ever. And he shows you his wares and is eager to try and sell you as much as possible. He keeps glancing at his stuffed beholder above the door, kind of like nervously, and glancing at you.
I'm gonna like throw my cloak over it while we're inside. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it big
okay.
enough? Or is he afraid I'm going to take it because I've always wanted a stuffed
I think
beholder?
he's because he was connected to the Xanathar. He's a little nervous that,
Yeah,
that you
because
were the
we
person
did
that
kill.
killed the Xanathar.
I'm gonna reminisce about how awesome that was while we were there.
It actually matches like the stuffed beholder trophy that they were giving out in the blood pit.
Yeah, I might get
Xanathar's
one of
there.
those too while we're there. But I'm trying to remember. Lark got dice while we were there. I feel like I hid the locket, hoping
did,
nobody would
yeah.
find
Just
it.
stole
I
it,
love
yeah.
that you remember it.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm sorry, I had a locket, but I don't know what happened to it.
I'm gonna go look for it behind the thing I hid it behind.
Oh yeah. And it's still there for sure.
Excellent.
It's a picture of an old man who matches the old man on the statues. He's kind of got this quizzical look in his eyes, like a glimmer of piercing intellect.
Okay.
Does
Otherwise,
he look
very
like he
wizened.
knows the martial arts?
Yeah, is the letter Z anywhere on it?
There's no text on
Oh.
it.
Okay.
Sadly, it's a little piece of parchment in the locket.
So, Lafloomf, how much for this and a stuffed beholder?
He says, "Oh, for you, no charge. Please just take it." And
What?
go,
I could have
and
had
go."
this all along? No. And so I reach up and jump up and pull down the stuffed beholder, which I'm assuming is as big as I am. Is that
It's, I guess, like for a halfling, yeah, like the size of your head and upper torso. Couple feet.
excellent?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pocket the pendant. What did I just say? It was
Locket.
locket.
Pocket the locket.
Yes. I got too excited about my beholder stuffy. And then I'm just gonna come out to Terry and be and tell him we're walking back to Troll Skull so that I can walk with this giant beholder in front of me and return to Troll Skull.
Nice. You get a lot of looks, but no questions.
Excellent.
They're like, yeah, she's the one that fucking killed the Xanathar. There you go.
Yep, this is gonna be a centerpiece at the short rest.
And Lafoonf is like, goodbye. Don't come back.
If there is time, Scoot would like to identify the staff and rings that he took off of the Toro.
Sure, with some help from someone magical.
I
maybe
would
a member of
absolutely
SWOJ.
need help.
Yeah. You determine, you got one ring and the staff. The ring he's wearing, that's one magical ring, I should say. A couple just gem encrusted.
I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I snagged them all.
Yeah. The ring that is magical that he was wearing is a ring of protection.
Oh.
which gives you +1 to AC and saving throws.
Oh.
And the staff is what's called a rod of rulership, which is very magical and lets you essentially like compel 100 people around you to do things when you use it.
I had that already as a native ability.
Damn, Skippy.
Question, just for me, is this a staff or is it a rod? Like,
Is a rod. It's like 4 feet, maybe 3 or 4 feet.
Okay, cool. So I can control 100 people or suggest to 100 people?
I can look up the exact rules, but essentially that's what it does.
I'll be able to do a thing and possibly do that.
I'll
thing.
send you a snippet.
Okay, I don't imagine I'm going to be using this item, so.
It's pretty powerful. And
I know,
nobody's
but
calling you out on it.
I don't think I should have it, though, is the thing. I've been carrying it, presumably for 3 days now. So, yeah, I'd probably just bring it up in casual dinner conversation. I assume we all eat like Firefly style. Like, we all get together around the table and...
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I figured out this his rod. This is what it is and what it's called.
That's how you've been spreading the rumors. You're just casually holding it when you yes and this stuff, and it so convinces everyone they run with it. Yeah.
So they were just looking at my staff and be like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. When you threw the beer down and said, "Get your own beer," did you notice that the whole restaurant got up and went and fetched their own beers?
It was uncanny.
I thought it was like a flash mob thing.
So at one of our dinners, was that all of the?
Well,
Was that all the jokes you wanted
is
to
E
make
coming
about
too
the
for those
rod?
dinners? Like, are you or like most of them?
Yeah,
Like,
if I was invited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be coming.
Celefarn's invited too. He just pokes his head through the window.
Yeah, he can't really eat with you guys, but he comes and hangs out pretty often too.
I feel like I took pity on Froon's bruise and went over and funded him in exchange for parking spots.
Nice. He is incredibly gracious about it. After that, he's turned a leaf. It seems like, and he
A
even
$1,000 leaf.
Good.
yeah. We'll see how long it lasts, but he's very grateful right now.
Depending on if I had any left after my magic weapon hunt, I probably would become like an investor over there too, if there was enough still left. But we didn't get to that.
So I'll kind of narrate some stuff, and feel free to interject if you have ideas or stuff that how you'd interface. But I'm going to kind of go through what's going on in the town as the time goes by.
Cool.
So for starters, let's see. We were talking about the short rest in SWOJ. You are getting applicants for SWOJ. People want to join SWOJ. You've had people coming again and again.
That's not how it works.
What's your take on that? Yeah.
Just
Adventurers.
Just what I did just now.
Big sign.
God, I knew this was going to get out of hand.
Yeah. People have heard stories. You're notorious now around the city.
I'll
And
start with
up-and-coming adventurers are offering their services or want to take classes. Whatever you can offer.
I'm
We should
like,
put-
no, you don't let anybody into this group.
Okay, you should tell Zelefarn that because he's actively like encouraging people to come and join SWOJ.
We should have them apply through the irregulars. Like, that's our screening.
They're
group.
busy. They're busy right now. I got them on a job.
So the irregulars have actually been spending more and more time at the short rest ever since Squidly came back, and they're kind of starting to take like Tag has taken on their education and teaching them like grammar and more like history and that kind of stuff. They started calling her mom sometimes. Like, it's just kind of this sweet relationship they have as she takes care of them.
It stuns me the first time, but then I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's what they're up to. So yeah, what do you want them to do? Just kind of buffer people, or?
Yeah, they can like set them up with like challenges, whatever they want.
With an intention of letting them in eventually, or just to...
Well, I feel like we could have like little adventuring groups,
Just going to say,
the SWOJets or
did-
something.
did we just enter the business minigame part of this podcast?
Busting out the Act Inc. source book next.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have it with me
I
too.
was thinking that's where you're headed with it.
Mm-hmm.
If we do take on
Franchisement.
like a sort of revolving group of people who will help in adventures, I would suggest that we call those the red shirts. And that
Camisa Rojas.
we need a couple of the red shirts to help us in this adventure. I can imagine us saying if we were going to go into someplace really dangerous.
Which I would follow up with, hey, Bricks and Brax, come with us.
No sign of those two as time goes by. They're on the lam, it seems. Zelefarn, for his part, has been spending a lot of time when he's not campaigning for SWOJ, or helping out with the construction work on the roof, he is spending time with Oranax, trying to learn how to polymorph. He's at that stage in his life where he's like, I need to learn how to do this because it's really impractical to be stuck on the roof all the time, and I want to have dinner with my peeps.
Yes.
So doesn't quite have it down yet, but he can kind of like sporadically shapeshift into different things or make himself a little bit bigger or smaller.
How's Terry doing?
Terry has been really embracing the life of vigilantism, and you actually see him less and less around. Like, he's not really so much like your workhorse anymore.
Yeah.
He's kind of his own person.
I get it.
And he's kind of a celebrity now. Like he still checks in every so often and spends like his evenings at the short rest for the most part, but he's also like out on the streets all the time, and kind of like there's rumors going on around the town of the talking horse Terry, and he's a bit of a superhero. There's rumors of him like being seen on the rooftops at night as well.
Get up there.
Yeah, he's sort of developing his own legend as a member of
Right.
SWOJ, connected, but
Yeah.
sort of an independent figure. It seems like he's spending some time at Vincent Trench's office too. Occasionally, you see him coming in and out of that door, like ducking down and crawling in as a horse.
Interesting.
He seems to have really embraced the horse form. But yeah, if you want to like query about that, he's definitely up to stuff, but mostly independently.
Okay.
Okay. Does Oranax have dinner with us too, or is he doing his own thing, right?
No, Ornax is more private.
That's what I
He spends
thought.
most of his time at the castle.
Okay. When I hear about Zelfarm trying to get shapeshifting down, I immediately start commissioning a dragon-shaped chair for our table.
Yes.
Like a huge chair.
Like for when he's in polymorph form. Once he can finally come in and sit down and eat with us.
Like as a human,
Yes.
or whatever.
Yep. Or somebody who can sit at our table. He's going to have a dragon chair ready for him.
Cool.
So during one of these dinners, I mentioned to the group about how I found the locket. Hey guys, I went back to LaFoomps. Remember that guy?
Oh, I
He
got
was
my die there.
terrified. It is where you got your die. Yeah, that's where I got the beholder stuffy above the table.
Oh, nice.
I thought you went back and won it.
Yeah, I thought that too.
No, this one's much bigger. And I put it up there like slightly askance so that like it's like hanging like limp, so it's clear that it's been defeated.
It's got stuffing ripped out of
The
it.
big tongue lolled out.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping
I've
for.
embroidered little red X's over the eyes.
So I got that, but while I was there, and I reach inside my shirt and I pull out the locket, and I open it up and I say, this wizard in here seems familiar to me, and I remember we saw a statue of him, and I was wondering if any of you wanted to come with me to look for the statue that had this face on it, and I show the face around the group.
Yeah, I remember where it is.
It's under the god hand. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's in the God Catcher statue.
The god
right?
catcher. Yep. That's what's called.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
I bet
Yeah.
you the hole that we punched in the wall, as I recall, halfway up the stairs, is still there.
There's actually like a back room entrance too from that halfling establishment.
The hole in the
right?
wall?
hole in the
Oh,
wall,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we could go for brunch, check out some statues.
How's your Sunday?
Yeah.
What was the name of the guy there?
He
Vaniel?
died, Vaniel.
Yeah, Vaniel. Yeah, Vaniel's
He died in
dead.
the
So when
explosion.
Vaniel died, did that place close up? Is it still around?
I don't know. We might have to go check. I haven't been over there since then.
His gang was still there, like Kitty and Bixby, whose names we just looked at a moment ago. So yeah, they're still around, just not Vaniel. So the Were Rat gang.
Tomorrow we can go check this out.
Sure.
Sure, that sounds good.
When is the party going to happen with Zardos?
I don't know, some undisclosed point in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys want to start like set a date and do that, like we can narrate our way to it also. Like you want to like really put it off or like have it pretty soon?
I don't. That's.
I don't know. I don't know if it made sense for this particular episode, but I just was suggesting it at some point in the future for like business purposes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
We could culminate with a giant party.
Well, what
See
kind of
what
party do you
happens.
want and when? do you want
Not an explosive one. It's celebratory, like returning the gold to the city. Meet all of our new friends.
Yeah, we could
on
have like
something for the city.
more fireworks, and we could be up in the treetops, like drumming on the stormtrooper helmets.
Yub nub.
Yub nub.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a giant Xanathar shaped pinata.
Nice.
Yes.
Dangle it. and bludgeon it.
And you can perform your epic new saga.
All of it.
Based
All of
on
it.
our adventures. Lots of sections about deciding which door
Yep.
to go through.
Your whole
Kicking doors.
Songbook.
Yep.
All the
Yeah.
different song ideas.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah.
So this is gonna be a big celebratory party / album release.
Yes.
Solid.
We'll invite the Doom Raiders. They can play backup. If you're all right with that.
They can
Absolutely.
Open. They can open.
It'll be like a month after the events
Sure.
of the Castellaneta Villa or
Seems
so.
right. Yeah.
Seems about right.
Sure. So after the first couple weeks, the gold starts getting distributed to the city. It takes a little bit of time to set up the arrangements. But it's happening. Like, people are getting their money back. The Castellanters are sentenced to death unless someone wants to speak for them. To
I mean,
commute
not
their
the
sentence or
children, though,
something. Not the
right?
children. No, the
Okay.
children are under the ward and protection of the city
Fuck.
until some relatives come to take care of them. Some other Castellanters from out of town.
What do the kids want? Are there relatives they want to live with?
Like, you go
Can we-
seek them out
yeah,
and ask
I-
them?
I feel definitely a bit of responsibility for the kids. Like, yay, we saved their
absolutely.
souls, but having them orphaned maybe is not the answer.
It's probably not the best time for me to give them those silver bars I told them about.
Oh, and Osvaldo is, like, on record still in the attic of the villa. Like, folks have just left him there. Like, he haunts that place now.
Oh, no.
They don't really have a good place for him. They didn't want to kill him because he's technically or was
So
one of
he
the
did-
Castellanters. He didn't change back.
Oh,
He's
no.
still a demon. His soul is gone.
Is he any cooler now, or is he still kind of the same old O?
Same old O. Classic O. I guess he's a little bit more chill now. It seems like the pressure has been released a little bit.
He'd be a little less mad at us if
Yeah.
we showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would want to go chat with the kids.
Yep. They're being kept, like, by a group of city watch and magisters at the villa still.
Because, I mean, if there's some eccentric great uncle they want to live with, but if they want to be with their parents, I think we probably have enough sway to at least keep the folks alive.
Or one of them.
Yeah. Vittorio's a tool.
Amalia was not great either. I
No.
feel I'm not super sad about either one of these sentencings.
So you go ask the kids.
Yep.
Just Ilka? Anyone else want to come?
They would go.
I'll,
For sure.
Whole posse.
Yeah,
follow.
probably.
We'll stop in.
'Kay.
I'll turn back into the dog so they can pet me while they chat about it. That'll help.
And that sets the tone of the meeting immediately. Like, they're obviously not doing great, the kids, but they're amazingly, like, not super burdened seeming. You know, like they move on, and they're actually kind of enjoying their time in the villa, like, in charge of things. You know, they can kind of get whatever they want to from the city folk when they ask for it. They've got new staff. There's been kind of a crackdown on, like, everyone who's under the payroll of the Castellanters. They went through those ledgers that were in Victoro's office and found many, many names of City Watch members and magisters and nobility, and the staff of the, like, all the staff of the Castellanter Villa were part of the cult, essentially. And so
Well, that
they've
was
all been
dumb of them.
removed. Yeah, it was a bit of drama for a while as they were all kind of hunted down. But for the most part, they've all been taken in at this point. So the kids, Terenzio and Elzarina, are happy to see you. And it seems like Terenzio's kind of gained his voice a little bit. He's had to be more in charge. He's not just letting Elzarina do all the talking now. And he says that he doesn't want his parents to get killed, for whatever that's worth. And Elzarina agrees. He says, I'm not sure I want to see them necessarily, but I don't want anyone else to die anymore. And he says,
What would you like to see happen?
he says, I don't know, I guess it's out of my hands, but they can sit in a dungeon for the foreseeable future. I'm not sure how the sentencing works. What do you think?
Who was the judge who saw us? Was that Layrol?
Layrol was the one who proceeded over the Docksword trial.
And she's gone. Who gave them their sentence? Do we know?
A magister. It's not someone you recognize. Someone at the castle.
All right.
And it's that if someone speaks for them, like, did they actually say that, or you're just, as the DM, suggesting that might be an option?
That's how the news is brought to you, since you
Okay.
were, like, pretty intimately involved in it. He's like, the sentence is death. Like, a messenger told you this. Unless someone wants to speak at their sentencing, And that happens a few days after the events. So
Yeah, I would comfortably go to the sentencing and speak on behalf of the kids that the death of their parents, even if deserved, would make things far worse for them. See if that...
roll persuasion. See how it goes.
I will offer guidance.
Yeah, I'm going to be there too, just wearing my showing
Nat 20.
support. Oh my gosh.
As long as we're gonna have one roll.
Yeah,
for the day,
nat 20. I did backflips during it, in the nude, body paint. This was very elaborate.
This is the most amazing trial anyone's ever seen in the Castle Waterdeep. Yeah.
I'd like to keep them alive also as potential, not informants, but they used to serve as Asmodeus, and I now have a contract with him. So if they can offer any sort of insight to that, it would be nice for them to be accessible.
All right.
Did you say that out loud?
I made sure that was my guidance. I made sure she incorporated it into her speech.
Are you openly sharing that you are in contract with Asmodeus?
Oh, that's a good point. Probably not.
I would not.
Don't look at me.
I feel like everything Ilka knows, if you told me that, I would keep it out of my performance.
Okay. So maybe we don't say why we need them alive. Well, we could just say, like, we know the cult has infiltrated the city, so keeping them alive in case we need to gain more information would be important.
The question is raised at the trial: why weren't the kids' souls damned if there was a contract damning them?
Do they answer?
They don't know. It's like it's raised to you all as you're telling the story and doing your Nat 20 performance.
Should I tell my beat Asmodeus at a game of dice?
That's one option.
Battleship.
Scoot and Asmodeus went down to
Play the
Georgia.
fiddle, yeah.
Don't give me a fiddle.
I mean, it was a Nat 20, so that honestly, like, you could go with that. A concertina fight with the devil.
Yes.
Add it to your legend.
Do it. That's
yeah,
it.
absolutely. Except I was so bold in my abilities that I had to duel him one-handed on the concertina.
How does that even work?
You kind of like shoulder it around, and you only get one hand to do the work.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
And I still won.
It's like one-handed clapping. All right. Well, so the Ilka went down to the Sea Ward is immediately a local legend. Yes. Yeah.
I don't even think you get to write that one. I think it's probably written before you get to the courthouse door to leave, you know?
And the sentencing is changed to a life sentence in the dungeons of Castle Waterdeep, with all of their fortune being bequeathed to the two children, the two remaining kids, instead of to like a family member or something else.
Good, so I don't need these silver burrs.
Maybe some sort of reparations for... Because didn't they like cause a bunch of deals to go sour?
Oh, yeah.
They killed a bunch of folk. So maybe there can be a committee set up for that as well.
Out of their fortune?
Out of their fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. That is part of it as well. Yeah, there's actually a big to-do about the diamond business between Waterdeep and Neverwinter, because the Castellanter business is mostly between the two cities. And with them kind of being taken out of the picture, it's a sort of a question of like who is going to get to move in and take charge of this. There's some Castellanters who lived in Neverwinter that are claiming it, and the city of Waterdeep is claiming it as part of the reparations, given that it was kind of earned through demonic influence. And so the last time you see Renair, actually, he sends you all a message. You don't see him personally, but as he recovered, he sends a message saying that he's going north to Waterdeep to start building the case to bring his father to justice. And he's worried that with the way the political climate is between the two cities, there might be some kind of conflict on the horizon, especially over the resources in between the two cities. So he's trying to help avert that.
Headed north to Neverember?
To Neverwinter.
Neverwinter.
Yep. Yeah, he fears that war may be brewing in the Sword Coast,
Oh no.
given this power vacuum.
Ooh. Oh, okay. So, and then brunch?
And then brunch the next day. Trial and then brunch. So you head down to the Godcatcher.
Wait, did they let the Castellanters off?
They let them commuted it to a life sentence instead of death.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rot in a dungeon for 60 years.
Well, since we're at the castle anyway, let's invite Mr. E to brunch.
Awesome.
Is he
All right.
awake when we show up?
I'd been hiding in my room.
Empty vials of dragon piss.
Yep. That's what I was just
Strewn
picturing.
about.
There's like a couple dragons like hovering around just outside the city, like waiting
Yeah.
for a response.
We like throw the curtains open, shake him a little.
What, Brent? Yeah.
I sing him stories of grapefruit mimosas and English muffins.
And still not having to get up until 10.
I'm like grabbing empty bottles of piss, and I'm like, there's nothing left, but I'm trying to.
Hair the dog.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Gotta start cooking. All right, so you make your way down to the hole in the wall, and you're greeted there by the staff. A few members of Voniel's gang are still there, and they want to hear all about your stories and your adventures. Yeah, you're welcome to enjoy a brunch. It's amazing halfling food,
Huzzah.
cuisine from the countryside. Really carb-rich breakfast. Lots of
Zay's
leafy
taking
greens
notes
as well.
for
Yeah.
the short rest.
Yeah. So what do you do when you're there? What's your agenda?
To see if we can head from here back to the space where we saw the 8 statues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that sort of doorway that you opened up has been boarded up since then. So it takes a minute, but you're able to kind of peel them back and get back in that dusty chamber.
Excuse me?
What's that?
A full minute?
Is Scoot helping out?
Oh, of course.
Okay, plunk, 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 plunk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smash.
They're like little halfling nails, so it's just like,
Oh.
pulling apart
Fling
Legos.
nails. They make their nails differently.
They're smaller.
I was trying to pick the lock on the boards.
No. You're having a
He's
rough
still
go of it.
waking
Who
up.
boarded
He's
this
still
place
waking
up? A seamstress? I'm just ripping them off one hand.
Yeah. They're like frame nails, not like construction nails.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get back in there. There's the 6 intact statues, and the one, I think I said the one was broken. It
Yeah.
had your face near it.
Yeah, I broke that one.
I think it was already broken.
No.
No, she
broke
knocked it
Yeah,
over.
she knocked it.
Damn. Yeah, so you recognize the man, the old man in the center of the circle as the man from the locket as well.
Okay.
And from the Blue Alley in episode 3.
Is that Mr. Ziyagi? Mr. E?
Doesn't look like him.
Nope.
Older
Oh.
and out of shape.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
Does it
Mr. Ziyagi's
trigger
dead.
anything else?
No, I
That's
mean,
a
is it a
statue.
statue? Is that a likeness of Mr. Ziyagi?
Oh, no.
Oh.
So when I look at any of the other, the other statues, like trigger any memory for me? Are they were all sorts of versions of humanoids, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Does it trigger anything for me seeing him again?
Roll history. Intelligence. Damn.
18 plus.
Wow.
I like that. Like an exceptional rolling. Well done, Zay. Oh, plus 7.
What? Oh, because you're proficient and some other bonus?
Wait, what is it?
History.
Oh, history.
Knowledge history.
Oh, just plus 2.
I was
So
like,
20.
oh my God.
20.
What?
That's what I was.
I
That's
have
so.
7 for a number of things, but not that.
What? Wow.
They do seem familiar to you at this point. Like after you remembered your name, you started to kind of have these like fleeting images in your mind as you see the contract in your dreams, and you don't you get some idea of these people's appearances. They're all wearing kind of similar robes, despite their different heights and ancestries. The old man in the middle, however, as you're kind of inspecting them, you dust off the foot of the statue. And there's just a small placard that reads the name Halaster
Starting with a J?
with an H.
Did we meet a Jolaster?
Probably.
Yes. But I don't remember what
Halaster.
it was. Jolasta?
There was a
Halaster,
Jolaster, I
the
think.
wizard. And this is the same wizard we saw in the dream world?
Yes. Yep.
In
Same
episode
statue
3.
with that wild eyes that were watching you.
Halaster the wizard. Guys, I found a clue. Anybody heard of Halaster the wizard?
No.
Have we?
Roll history. to
I
find
mean,
out.
let me think a second.
Oh.
You're all welcome to.
Is he in your guide to everything?
23?
Jesus. Damn.
18.
17.
11.
11. So E, no.
Yeah, I'm sitting over in the corner, like in the corner, like with my head down in my hands.
Oh no.
like pouring an egg yolk into a bag with some hot sauce or a cup with some hot sauce.
No, we just had brunch. I'm not hungry.
Right.
I'm tired.
It was a long walk. You're right.
Yeah.
So, Scoot, it vaguely rings a bell to you, but Lark and Ilka, the name does sound familiar to both of you. Lark from comics that you've read and old stories of great wizardly battles in the past. Rowan Crooks fought him at one point.
Whoa.
Like he fought every famous wizard
Right.
in the comics. But Ilka, you know his full name is Halaster Blackcloak, and he's sort of one of the founders of Waterdeep as well. A super powerful wizard that worked with Agarin back in the old days to found the city. And he basically, while the city was built upwards, Halaster descended downwards into the Underdark and the old dwarven ruins below the city, and sort of formed his own kind of wizardly lair down there. And he was rarely seen after that.
Is he a dwarf and wizard?
He's a human.
Human wizard.
Rumors are that he either like left this world or went insane. It's not really clear. But there's many different stories that all kind of like touch on him like as a side character, because there's not really a clear account of what happened to him after the city was founded. But the stories are just that he was very, very powerful, and he basically, like, his magic was essential in founding the city. He had a big wizard's tower at one point.
Oh, crazy old black cloak. I share the story. He delved too greedily and too deep and lost his mind, but he founded the city. Him and some others.
Yeah, he was defeated by Rowan Crooks once.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the sequel, too.
Didn't really take.
Into Undermountain. That's the name of the area underneath Waterdeep.
Oh,
That's
sure,
what I think.
yeah.
Not the Underdark. Undermountain.
Side note, Jalaster was the first of the Harpers that we met in episode 1.
That's right. Jalaster Silver.
How did you find that?
Well, I just started paging through my notes, and it was on the first page.
Oh, that's where you started. Okay.
Yeah, Jalaster was the Schwasty Harper who told you about Ramalia
Yep.
originally.
Oh, yeah.
Started that quest line long ago, the breadcrumb quest.
It's grayed out now, but still active.
So that's what you know.
I wonder why there's a statue of him.
In the Godcatcher? And who
Yeah.
are the people surrounding him? And why does one of them look like me? And why was I in your dream? Did you guys ever tell me about that?
Yeah.
Oh, the Christmas dream?
Yeah.
Like while you were in prison, maybe you finally shared it or something? It seemed like Zay hadn't really reacted to it up to that point.
Yeah, you were a total badass, and you were crushing this aboleth single-handedly with your magic powers.
Into the Stone of Galore, or a Stone of Galore if there were multiple.
After I removed it from a river?
Yeah.
That was before way before the founding of Waterdeep, or
I don't know.
Do we
I
think
don't
it
know
was-
when the founding of Waterdeep was, but it was about 500 years ago. The vision, as I remember.
No,
the
that was
Christmas.
the recent one.
Oh, was it?
That was when we went
Oh, yeah, that's
down
right.
under the city.
It was like
Blood
500
Express.
years before that. So it's
Like
about
Christmas.
1,000 years ago.
I mean the
Winter solstice.
winter
Yeah.
solstice?
Yeah.
Fleecy's Navi's Christmas tower.
Oh.
It was
Naka's
Navi's
Tomi.
dad.
That's
Naka's
the one.
Tomi
Naka's
Tower.
Tomi
That's the
Tower.
Yeah.
Zakatomi?
Zaka's, no, it was Zaka's Tomi Tower. Yeah.
Zakatomi Tower.
Oh, yeah, Zaka.
And it's Plaza. Thank you.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, Scott didn't quite quit the show after that. But
I emotionally checked out. Yeah, almost got me back.
That's when we jumped the Zark.
So is there a chance I could have known
So much hate.
this wizard? So many questions to ask.
I think the answer is yes.
I draw some quick sketches of the remaining of all the other statues, or I break all their faces off. No, I'm just kidding. I draw quick sketches of the remaining statues before we leave.
Great.
I'm just meandering around. I got
The happenings are bringing you more food as long as you're there. Like, they're just trying to be accommodating.
Inspired by
That's
Zay, I'm
hilarious.
going to brush the dust away from the base of the other statues carefully so that I don't knock them over and see if there's any other names.
There's not, alas. Just the one.
And they're all facing him, like they're looking at the center.
I think I said they were all facing forward.
Oh,
Like all
okay.
the same direction.
But is it a circle around him?
Yep.
Okay, but they're all facing the same direction.
Yep.
do they have facial expressions?
No, it's very like alabaster, like Greek statue with the kind of creepy eyes.
Okay.
So, that's a morning. The Castellanters have been commuted, and the party's coming up.
That's good. Good day done.
Yeah. The Castellanter kids start stopping by the short rest occasionally with an escort if you let them.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
Let's introduce them to the irregulars.
Exactly, and they start to befriend the irregulars and attend classes with them and kind of share their knowledge. And the 5 form a tight bond over a couple weeks.
Maybe they'll join the irregulars.
The mini SWOJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to work with these 5 and get them in little costumes for each of the 5 of us and have them be the opening act of the party that they're going to act out this epic battle.
Yeah, they're all in. Castellanter kids are a little bit cagey about it at first just because it's kind of personal, but they come around with some pushing. Sally, for her part, has been kind of expanding her steely talent grip over the whole city. With the ravens of the Sea Ward now out of the picture, she's expanded her influence into that half of the city. And you frequently see pigeons flying around, looking a little bit tough.
So essentially, we have influence over the skies above this city.
Oh yes,
It's like dragons, birds. That's about all of it, right?
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and these 5 kids cover really everything else.
Yeah.
And the red shirts now too, if you need someone more expendable.
We are crime bosses. We're so
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Except without the crime part of it.
Right.
When was the last time we
Yeah.
looked at the code legal?
Speaking of, at one point before the party, Davil Starsong actually comes to all of you, approaches Ilka first. Essentially, saying he's really excited to perform. I can't wait. Amazing what you did at the Castellanter Villa. I could also use some money, he says. Our resources have been kind of spent lately. On our activities outside of our musical ventures, the Doom Raiders themselves are pretty strapped for cash right now, and I was wondering if you could maybe spot us about 5,000 gold to keep our business in order. You see, we are also members of the Black Network, if I hadn't made that clear by now.
What's the Black Network?
The Zentrim.
Oh.
Oh, no. You don't want to.
And they can't hook you up?
Well, here's the thing. We're sort of our own pocket division of the Zentrim. We kind of do things our own way, and there are other forces in the city that would like us gone, and we're kind of feeling kind of squeezed right now. And so I'm hoping that given our past relationship and the help that we provided, SWOJ will be able to maybe help us out in return.
Should we speak to Yagra about that before we... Yagra's Zentrim? Did we know that?
Yes, we did.
Oh, all the way from way back when? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Episode 1.
Do we like the Zents? How did that all shake down?
I mean,
They're connected to Nancy, right? Nancy's the head of the Zents?
Who had the wine farm with the scarecrows?
the Zubers.
Zubers.
The Zentarim are the other gang that were at war with the Xanathar.
They're the ones...
So sorry.
Yeah. Who created this mess?
They're the ones whose warehouse we went to
To save
once upon a
Floon.
time.
Yep.
That's where we met Pinker.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
going to say there's going to be a bunch of Kenku in line next.
So I don't know that we're necessarily on great terms with the Zentarim. They are a I don't know, a gang, I guess, but our interests aligned several times in that we were both opposed to the Xanathar.
Well, we could pay them for performing at our
Right.
gig.
So I think
Or-
what I will say to Davil is we're not super interested in getting involved giving money to the Zentarim, but we will happily finance your group for your performance.
He says to the tune of 5,000 gold pieces.
Each of us is coughing up 1,000.
Good, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
For what? What are we doing this for?
He says, well, let me spell it out for you, as long
Yes.
as you're all here talking.
Oh, hi. Thanks for flagging us over, Ilka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, ever since the Xanathar went down, the Zentrim have been expanding their influence in the city. The other Zentrim, not our group, but the folks led by the one you call the Necromancer. They're sort of the main division of the Black Network. Their methods are more questionable. They're murderers. We generally are more mercenaries. We fight evil for money, not anyone for money. Given that we're at sort of a crossroads in the future of the city's underworld right now, what I was hoping is that you all would see, as we do, that Waterdeep would benefit from having a maybe more neutral party with influence in the underworld.
Such a tough sell.
And this is only going to... Matthias is setting us up. This is only the second of many. Fine, I'll... Oh, no, Lark really does not like Devil Star Song.
Sure.
I don't know if Say has any money left.
Lark hasn't spent any, I don't think. He's also been selling SWOJ shirts, so he's
Yeah,
got
little bit of
a
pocket
side
gold.
hustle.
Yeah.
All right, God damn it!
I think.
I'll pay.
5,000 is a lot. I might negotiate it down and be like, we have a lot of requests and we're not nearly as rolling as money as folk would like. We can contribute a portion, but probably not the full 5,000.
He says, well, and let me be clear, this isn't a one-sided arrangement. My crew have a very diverse set of skills as well. So by making this investment, you have access to Ziraj and his bowmanship, Schemo and his alchemy, myself and my many prolific talents. So don't feel like you're getting shortchanged here. I understand that this is a big ask, but it's also a big sell.
Could we do it over time?
I'm flexible, he says.
I'll follow whatever Ilka's lead is.
Have I got an indication yet on what I'm looking to spend on an item? Because that was basically the bulk of it. An item plus this chair. That's everything I've declared money for so far.
Well, how much are you willing to spend, I guess?
I was waiting to get ideas. I just don't know what magic items typically run as far as gold. So
Well, if you want to get like a basic one, it's maybe 1,000 gold. If you want to get like a really good one, it's at least 5,000 gold.
yeah, I'd look at the 5,000 gold stuff.
Okay.
So
Scoot's
you're kinda
spending his
committed for
money
half of
wisely.
it.
I just give me a. If you want to talk about it later off air, we can.
Yeah, I'd like to do a little bit of research.
Okay, cool. So assuming, God damn you.
Yes.
Not drunk enough for this. Yeah. So assuming I can still get, because that's priority one for me. I want that chair to be nice. The rest I'm willing to put towards this, even if it's more than like an equal, just whatever I got left. I'll be happy with that good chair for Zelopharm and a solid weapon that we can negotiate on later.
Totally.
Cool.
The chair isn't that expensive. You got a lot of huge discounts from the different crafting guilds.
Okay.
So there's some wood carvers that are totally willing to spot you for a great chair.
Yeah, that I'm willing to help. To my goal on this is that even if we're not always allies, we're not going to be adversaries in this relationship.
Absolutely, he says.
I mean,
that's never been the case, so no problem.
All right.
Mr. E has stopped in.
I take a wallet out from basically the small of my back.
Yeah.
I've been keeping it. It's damp.
As you're
but
talking,
that's
Cthulhu
what it is.
Zelopharn lands outside. E steps in. And Zelopharn comes in behind him with a big old dragon head on a kind of funky human torso. Just sort of ducking into the door. It's like, don't say a word about it.
Just looking like one of the family members from Beetlejuice when they're
Yeah.
trying to scare the Alec Baldwin.
He's like, all right, Scoo, where's that chair? Let's try out.
Where's the chair?
It just got delivered a couple days ago. So.
It got delivered. I haven't even unboxed it yet. Check this out,
Nice.
buddy. And we crank the thing open, and
Oh, man.
hopefully in a cool style where you pop the top off and the four sides all fall at the same time.
Yeah, a couple streamers.
But there's still some bubble wrap
Nice.
thing I take off. Other than that, there.
It's incredible.
It's
Yeah,
all yours.
It's got like little draconic gargoyles along the top and
Yep.
beautiful scaly motifs all over it.
Yep. And
Claws.
I can't read it, so I don't know what it says.
It's huge. Also, it's like 8 feet, 10 feet tall. Like big old master chair, towers over all the other ones.
Well, I make sure to put it on the side of one corner so he understands he's not running the show here.
Sure.
I'm not getting him a throne.
Sure. So you just arrived, but you're still talking to Devil.
Yeah, but I arrived in time to like hear this, and I'm like, I'm in. I'm gonna give him 1,500.
Nice.
To
Well,
make up for
can we?
anybody.
Let's let Ilka do the. She's kind of handling the
I will.
the negotiation here. I'll back up whatever Ilka decides.
But I give it to Ilka, but I make sure they know I gave him more than 1,000.
I did just realize that we just we'll split it 5 ways with Mr. E, who showed up days before we finished this
There's a lot of trust.
year-long campaign.
We started this in 2018.
I was just thinking in-game.
You're in game.
Gotcha.
Neat. So what does Scoot have left after his weapon and chair business?
We'll say 3,000 gold or so.
Cool. Yeah, whatever.
More than enough.
I keep 100 in my pocket, and then here's 2,900.
I have all my money, plus what I've made in the past couple of weeks.
I never want to hear about you borrowing a do-rag of mine again.
I've been out shopping secretly for do-rags for Scoot.
I'm going to slide
Aw.
back to Scoot, so he keeps 500. We take 2,500 of his, and then Brain go. Oh, then we only need 1,000 left between the 3 of us.
I don't know if I have any money left. I've been
Okay.
just throwing money at things. So.
And I say I could do 500 more if you need it.
That's true.
But I
oh,
say
you
really
also,
loud so they hear it.
He also
Nice.
squirreled away some extra.
Devil
Okay.
beams at you and nods.
Okay. And then I will cover the rest. And we have our 5,000.
How much do you need me to give?
We have it. If you are not contributing, that's okay with
Oh,
us.
no, I
We've
was
made this-
going to pay for the whole thing.
Oh.
So I'll pay whatever you want me to, Ilka.
So Davil bows with a big flourish and says, if you need me or any of us, I'll be at the yawning portal. And as he's walking out the door, Volo Thamp Gadarm tromps into the room
Hello.
glowingly and says, my friends, it's so good to see you all. I can't believe what you've done.
Thanks,
You're
Volo.
incredible, all of you. I knew you had it in you.
Thanks.
Here's the thing.
I throw 500 gold at him.
Since I played such a key part in helping you find the Vault of Dragons, I was wondering if you would be interested in helping me with my next endeavor. Financially speaking, that is.
Oh, my God.
Volo's Book of Portals and Portents. What say you?
Volo's Book of Impotence?
Portals and Portents.
Okay, God, thank you.
That sounds amazing.
I think Lark may be in.
On the tune of 5,000 gold or so
Whoa, why do you need so much money?
for an expedition into the deep wilds.
Oh,
Hiring a powerful wizard to let me through, or an advanced team.
I spent a couple of years in the deep wilds.
What?
Yeah. I can tell
me
you all about
everything.
You
Yeah.
could just interview Lark.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
might
start.
not even need an expedition.
We'll have to charge you for the consult, though.
I'm afraid I can't offer you any money.
5,000 gold.
No, I could offer you naming rights within the book. You know, maybe some definitely a shout out or two.
Oh, I don't think we're really working for exposure anymore.
Well, that's kind of my number one currency. So I don't have any more mansions to give away. I'm afraid I'm a bit strapped for cash right now.
Oh, I know what
I'm
that's
still
like.
waiting for my Dragon Horde payment to come through. They're deliberating over my requests, so I'm a bit short until then.
There's a good counsel in place for that, isn't it?
I can help you, Volo.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you gave us this awesome mansion, and you
Right.
signed my copy, which unfortunately got disintegrated by a beholder.
No, I'll sign you another one.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and I'm really excited to talk to you about portals and portents in the deep wild.
Oh my god. My gods. Very well, Lark. I am at your service. Anytime you're free, I would love to come to call.
Thanks, Volo. I really want to. Let's do that.
Okay. Well, simple as that.
I hope all the listeners have really enjoyed spreadsheets of Dungeons and Dragons for the past 20 minutes.
This is
Let's wrap up.
closing our books.
I love it. I know we got to get to a net zero.
Yeah. See, I got my list here. What else?
So we all got 10,000? Was that what happened?
Yep, I gave 1,000 to Froon for parking spots, and 500 to who just showed up. Davil.
Doom Redders.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Doom Raiders.
And I renovated the short rest.
Yeah. So that's wrapping up by the time the party comes around.
Can I make a reasonable investment in Floons with 500 gold?
Froon's Brews?
Yeah, Floons.
Yeah, he'll take any money you're willing to throw at him.
I go to the porch and I throw it as hard as I can, crashing through the window, which I'll then have to pay for.
Aw.
They'd be like, "There, that's my piece of the investment. Don't bother me."
You hear a yelp and a Fuck you. I mean, thank you.
You have to add an
Now
SFW.
Now
I think they all have the
this
tag.
podcast.
yeah. Now I don't have any money anymore,
Nice.
except for whatever. Please, I hope I get an item.
Yeah.
What's it gonna cost to put a sauna in?
Well, the basement is pretty warm. It's insulated, I should say.
Yeah.
So
You just
can
need
get-
some cedar benches and a little boiler stove.
hook up a pipe from the sewer
Yeah.
nearby. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick a sauna in our basement
Awesome.
and then add a gaudy neon sign about it.
Like right by your dad's old workshop,
Yes.
kind of in that corner.
Yes.
So like a family sauna?
Yes.
I'm gonna be hanging out here more.
It's one of the first saunas in the Trades Ward, or the North Ward of Waterdeep. So
I wish
Mr.
you
E
wouldn't have
invests
used.
in towels.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have used the pipe from the sewer though.
The sewers have been getting better.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
my influence in the tower.
It has been helpful.
specifically the stormwater sewers, not
okay.
not the sanitary sewers.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, you're good. Storm sewers. So other than that, approaching the party, the Zilka has been coming and going from the short rest. Spending more time at the Graalhund Villa. Those doors have been thrown open. The Graalhunds themselves have all been taken in for questioning as well in relation to their activities with the cult. Arrested. So you occasionally down the street hear like haunting otherworldly melodies from a concertina.
Yes.
Stuff you've never heard before, Ilka, like new music.
I still have the keys. You can have them.
The keys.
The keys to the
To the
house.
Graalhund Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, I will go over and see if I can patch up a very rocky family relationship.
Yeah. So you've already been reading the Book of Shadows in your free time, and the gist that you're getting is that from the histories in the Book of Shadows, Zilka was reanimated by the Graalhunds shortly after you were killed for the first time. So your soul was stored somewhere, and then your body was reanimated as this Ilka, and given rings to protect her undead aura, so she could walk around the city freely. And she's kind of used as an agent, a closer for the Graalhunds, until you guys intervened, and she started to do things her own way, establish some independence, and she never got a soul back, but she's still her own sentient, magically animated being. So she's slowly learning what that means and how to exist without a soul, and it seems like it's possible somehow, like she's developing her own soul or something.
I'm gonna take her out to get her hair dyed a different color than mine.
Nice. Like
We're
what
gonna
color?
make a day of it. I think she's gonna get a little more life in her and do like a fiery red into orange gradient.
Cool.
Do that.
Yeah, and she's, it's taken some effort, but like with her withered arms and hands, she's still practiced enough to get the concertina down, and so that's sort of, she's just sort of a hermit. Doesn't get out too much unless you encourage her to. She mainly stays in the villa. 'Cause also, it's hard for her to be outside in the daytime.
Yep.
She's
We go out at nights. Neat.
wonderful. So the day of the party arrives. The Doom Raiders are playing, cranking out some sick music. The different carts from the Sea Maidens Fair start to arrive, and unless you all have any specific agenda, a rollicking shebang takes over Troll Skull Alley and most of the Northward. As the city all turns out, gold is flowing freely, since many folks have just gotten a stimulus check from the city.
Nice.
Yeah, no sign of the Zentarim aside from the Doom Raiders. It's just a very celebratory occasion.
There's dragons on the roof
Oh yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
Zay's trying out all the food carts that she invited from all the different wards and all the different restaurants, like the hole in the wall.
Awesome.
Lark requests Yup Nub from the Doom Raiders.
Yep, it's a classic
Nice.
from the forest
Yeah.
halflings.
Yeah.
We have an elaborate 10-foot across piñata of the Xanathar in very bright colors, and we invite people out into the alley to beat it with sticks. It is full of mostly gold chocolate coins and a couple real gold coins.
Nice.
Ow.
There are also some candied.
Oh
intellective
no,
hours,
dentist bills.
like little brain lozenges.
Yes,
that kinda fall out
perfect.
of- Yeah. Scoot, what about you? With all this going down in your home, how does it
I'm
rub you?
probably just strolling around.
Nice.
Probably just talking, just sort of popping up here and there for conversations, but just sort of taking it all in. I've got no other grand plans, just sort of making sure everybody's having a good time.
Wonderful. How's the dragon piss situation at this party?
I'm not letting it flow too much because I don't want it to turn into that kind of party.
Yep.
But if
Yeah.
anybody asks,
Scoot would
slip
probably
a
be
little.
aware of that as well. trying to
Yeah,
keep
I
that.
mean,
Yeah, you actually meet. There's this elven botanist that lives down the street in Trollskaleli named Fela Lefelier,
yeah.
and they are all about the dragon piss.
Does she know it by another name?
Yes, she calls it by a more scientific name. It's a.
It's okay. You don't have to.
Well, I mean,
Draconia pisthemata. It's
I mean, if we're branding this and this is a distribution,
Well done.
then
Oh,
it's going to be
sure.
called Dragon Piss.
She says,
Dragon
I can see how
Master's
you
Dragon
get that name from the more scientific
Yeah,
origin. So we'll roll with it.
awesome.
But yeah, she can hook you up. She's been like kind of your main, or she. You've heard of her through your sources as you get the herbs that go into it, and now you're kind of meeting face to face, and she's all about setting up that relationship.
Sweet.
Lark's feeling like the festivities are going on. He starts to feel a little nostalgic, and he finds a quiet spot to sort of pour one out for the people who didn't make it to the end of this adventure, like Thale and
And the little gnome that we
yeah,
found down in the alley.
Dalakar, and
Vaniel.
and
Vaniel.
Vaniel.
Who was the little jester down in the
Oh
Xanathar?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Zipswiggle,
Yeah, Flutterfoot.
Flutterfoot.
Zipswiggle.
Did the fish live?
Unclear. Yeah, I think he got back in the tank.
Do their spirits appear to me?
Oh
at
yeah,
the edge of the-
I remember.
How much dragon
because
piss have you had?
Exactly.
There were healers that came in to heal the fish specifically.
right,
Oh yeah,
Personal
that's right.
And then we
This
never
is-
made it back to the room. So if that room got blown up, then Fishy probably did. but
Yeah.
Well,
Otherwise, the fishies are real hungry.
Or made it into the sewers
Yeah,
and has
yeah.
been growing larger and larger.
Write that down, Matthias.
Sure.
God,
Season 2.
sewer fish.
He's probably got a weird attitude after that much time with the Xanathar. And
Yeah.
basically, it's a goldfish shark.
Well, and
He was
goldfish will
really
eat, like,
obsessed with
anything,
food.
too,
Anything.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the night progresses into the early morning before you all wind your way back to somewhere to sleep. Feeling satisfied, feeling at peace.
Uh-oh. No.
Yeah. Time continues until the summer solstice. It is about a month and a half to 2 months after the events of the Castellanter Villa, the 20th of Kythorn, which is like fantasy June, end of June.
Zay's been preparing for Lyrian's return.
How so?
Meditating a lot, getting at foods she thinks Lyrian might like to try, different kind of like clovers, and
The sauna is done at this point.
sauna's ready. Excellent.
If
Like
you
a
want to
good
do anything
sauna.
with that, yeah.
So those kinds of things.
Was it sauna or hot tub? Sorry.
Sauna.
Sauna.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, as Zay is finding herbs, I'm going to create an herb basket in the sauna that rotates with the seasons.
Very good.
I did make a sign though that says sewer pipe sauna. That's the name of it. It's, branding. Yeah.
Keeps out some of the sailors. At this point, the Wave Silver have commissioned a new boat named the Silver Plum in honor of your efforts. So that's kind of one of their
Neat.
the bastions of their new trade fleet as they're building up their capacity again. So the summer solstice rolls around, and at noon, when the sun is highest, you all hear a whoa, whoa from the basement of the short rest.
Sun is acting up again.
Yeah. Yeah. Fix that
Sewer
thing.
sauna.
Yeah, sewer, sewer
Sewer
pipe.
sauna.
Would you all have been around, kind of expecting Lyrian to arrive, or was this more? of a
Did you
private
tell
thing?
us about it?
Oh, I guess you guys weren't upstairs. Yeah, I've been letting you know that I'm preparing for her return. Yeah.
Yeah, then definitely.
I don't expect her to show up in the basement, though, so
No.
that
Yeah.
would be odd.
right next to the sewer pipe sauna.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing she's going to see
That's why I asked about it. 'Cause
when
I
she
don't
gets to your home.
know. And E is there as well.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the counter just piling a bagel with salmon and chives when I hear this.
It smells
Yes.
strong.
And the fish smell probably brought me in.
Nice.
I had passed out the night before.
Yeah.
That's why you're still here.
Yeah.
There's a couple red shirts are making lunch for you all right now.
And I have skipped the bagel. I'm just picking at the salmon and
Yep,
then,
yep.
then
Tag
I'm
us
just
outside with the kids. Yeah.
taking a hit of chives. And then,
Separately.
yeah,
Nice.
I combine them in my mouth. make them a
Nice.
meal.
It's delicious.
Salmon and chives.
Honestly, I could really go for that right now.
I'll wrap
Anyway, from
this
the
shit
basement,
up.
you hear a boom. So, who's going down to investigate?
I'm assuming we're following Zay.
Do we
Hold on,
expect
Josh.
it's the unicorn, or is it just a weird noise?
It sounds like a portal from what you've heard of portals.
Is that
Oh,
the
that would
sound of
get
the
me moving.
unicorn?
Yeah.
That's the
It
sound
could
of a
be.
portal.
Let's head down.
Okay.
Dum, 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 dum. And you make your way down. You don't see anyone at first. Roll perception. The 5 of you. There is a big glowing portal in the middle of the room with like a reddish orange light coming out of it.
18.
17.
12?
10. Wow, we're going in order.
11.
You screwed it up.
No, because it goes around. Yeah, my hands are full of salmon and bagel. I'm not paying attention to a whole lot.
Definitely got a mouthful of salmon.
Yeah.
I'm hungover.
I'm very eager.
I'm sprinkling chives on Mr. E to try to wake him up. It's an old sailor's cure.
He's stumbling down behind you. Zay, you hear like a creak in like the rafters above you of the cellar. And as you look up, Lark, you hear it a little bit later, and you turn and you are pounced upon by a hooded figure who holds a knife to your temple and starts to carve into you.
Ow,
very
Lyrian!
hard. That's what you say?
Yeah.
I jump on the figure.
That's not Lyrian.
Okay, and like a little trickle of blood poof, comes out of your temple, Lark.
Explodes from his
Before this
temple?
hooded figure like bundles up something that it's holding that it pulled out of your temple. It plucked something out of your head. And then kind of like, I guess, gets flattened by Scoot as he comes down the stairs. and you knock back the hood as the person tumbles, and it is in fact Rowan Crooks, the mustachioed gentleman, laying below you, Scoot. And from above and all around, like from behind the different casks and the sauna itself and the rafters, Little Joan and Friar Truck and different jolly gents make themselves known around the basement.
Oh my god. Yeah. Lark's,
How do you react?
Lark is
And he's like,
passed
what?
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Scoot.
Lark's unconscious.
He just goes limp.
Yep.
Fainting goat.
Yep.
I'm probably still wearing the outfit that they gave me.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm like, hey, good to see you again. What are you doing to Lark's head?
And Friar Truck rushes over and heals the wound on Lark's head immediately. And Rowan Crooks kind of cups his hands and shows you in his hands a small ruby with a ring of copper around it, like just the size of like a penny. He says, "This was inside your friend, I assume placed there by the one you call the necromancer."
Everything inside him was placed there by the necromancer.
Exactly. This is a gem of seeing, kept hidden for months.
Lark, can you see?
Lark's unconscious.
Oh, and the Friar
Lark
Truck
does-
rushes over to Lark too and starts to use some smelling salts and healing magic to try and wake you
Okay.
up. Do you react as you start to come to, or
I think he's in shock. Lark's in shock.
just go limp again?
Yeah. It's just
Put it back in him. He can't see.
No. And Rowan Crooks bundles it up and keeps it secret. He says,
He's not going to wake up until you put that back in him.
No. That's not how it works, my friend. This was an item through which you were being watched for a long time now, ever since Lark was resurrected.
Thank you for freeing us from the watchful eye of the necromancer. Nancy, that dirty guy.
And he nods and says, "I'm just glad that Lark is all right again. He is all right, isn't he?" He
Maybe you
looks
guys
just
should
like-
hide for a minute while I wake him up.
Should I go like around a corner or something?
So
All right. And he steps behind the portal.
I walk over to Lark and I say, "Hey, Lark."
Say, I had the craziest dream. Rowan Crooks was here, and Friar Truck, and Little Joan, and Aunt Diluvian Jake. They were all here.
Hey, remember the dagger you have?
Yeah.
Remember that it came from Rowan? Okay.
Right. I guess that's true. But I feel very conflicted about this. That wasn't a dream?
It wasn't a dream, and he is here now. Are you ready to meet him?
Yes.
All right, come on, Silver Ferret.
And then
You got
boom,
this.
A second portal appears next to the one that they all stepped through. And Lyrian steps out of the portal.
Lyrian.
The same reddish light behind it.
Knew that was gonna happen.
And Rowan Crooks steps out with Lyrian.
I was fucking twin portals in here.
And he greets you, Lark, very casually, trying to downplay the excitement as much as possible.
Yeah, Lark's moving very stiffly, but staying conscious. He's like, yeah.
He says, listen, I'll make it brief. The dark wizard that we've been hunting all of these years, you've met him or one of his clones.
It's Nancy.
His name is Manshun, the founder of the Zentarim. None of us are safe here. I don't know why he let you live, but I assume that gem had some hand in it. We need your help, if you're willing, your connection to him, to track him down and end his schemes. For justice!
For justice!
For justice.
What are his schemes?
Many and multifarious.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Do they involve my siblings? Because we have to do that too.
He says, what say you?
Yes!
Is the game up with this gem out? Will he know that we've been compromised?
Not as long as we keep it secret. Keep it safe. That's not copyrighted, is it? I just don't know why I keep saying that. It just feels right.
Yep.
Don't go alone.
That's a lousy, rotten thing to do, to put a little rock in Lark's head to spy on us. What a jerk.
Wait, yeah, there's a rock in my head?
Yeah, Rowan took it out.
What?
Yeah, that's why he kind of poked you in the temple.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Maybe a
Nancy
big
was
poke.
spying through the rock in my head?
Yep.
None of this makes any sense to me. Nancy's Manshun, like from the comics?
That's right.
Oh, my goodness. I wish I would have gotten him to autograph some while
He
I
says,
was
we've been tracking him through the deep wilds for a long time. We know that he has an extra-dimensional sanctum somewhere out there. And this
Oh,
is
I
just
think
one
we've
of
been
them.
blow
there.
it up? Did we blow it up?
Oh, he blew up the tower, but not the
accessed
interdimensional
You blew up the portal.
sanctum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we really don't know how to get to it.
Right.
I was in the deep wilds, but I didn't see him there.
Well, perhaps your experience could be helpful now that you're a flesh and blood person again.
Yeah, I saw a unicorn ghost.
Lyrian nods. And Lyrian says, I had a feeling you'd all be able to help, so I guided them here.
Thank you, Lyrian.
Thanks, Lyrian.
And the two of them then kind of turn and beckon towards the twin portals ahead of you.
Take a
And
shot.
they say, I understand you might want to go make some last errands, but will you come with us?
Lark already jumped through the portal.
Like at first.
Which one?
I'm shoveling salmon in my mouth because I'm pretty sure the food won't cross through. I think that's the thing I've read.
He's like, it's not a one-way trip. Don't worry. We can work this out. You can have some more chives later if you want. Plus, the chives in the Feywild are phenomenal.
Zay was essentially prepared to journey because she didn't know what Lyrian would want or ask. So Zay's oddly prepared to follow Lark through.
Yeah, I'm strapped up. Got my sword, my boots, concertina.
Ian Scoot?
Yeah, I'm in.
100%.
Yeah.
You're still a little bit hungover.
Yeah, I poured some water over the pipe, so it got steamy in there.
Nice.
Nice.
It's helping.
Really adds to the effect, like kind of like
Yeah.
the laser light of the portals is really
Mhm,
filling
yeah.
the room.
And the dragon staff I gave to my staff, so
Oh.
that they can.
I guess Oranax maybe is going to
Yeah,
keep an eye
I
on
won't be missed. Is my point.
it. Okay.
If I go.
And Scoot? You want to say goodbye to anyone?
Scoot sighs and walks through the portal.
Here we go.
Here we go
again.
again. Twin Portals is produced and edited by Scott Hebert. The adventure is created by our Dungeon Master Matthias Valero, and the rest of the Silver Waves of Justice are played by Kendra Carlson, Beth Brophy, and Justin Peck, with guest adventurer Robert Lee. Scott Hebert is a fiscal year 2021 recipient of a Creative Support for Individuals grant from the Minnesota State Arts Board. This activity is made possible by the voters of Minnesota through a grant from the Minnesota State Arts Board, thanks to a legislative appropriation from the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Previous support was made possible by the Arrowhead Regional Arts Council, and my sincerest thanks to those two boards for their support. This being the formal season of thanks, and this being our final story episode of what we are calling Arc 1, we at Twin Portals want to take some time and send out special thanks to just a few of the people who have supported us on this first journey of ours. From our fantastic Dungeon Master Matthias Valero, special thanks to everyone who joined us in telling stories, especially Scott for all of his work driving the bus behind the scenes. Special thanks to all the members of SWOJ for their patience and wild joy. Special thanks to Chris Perkins for being an eternal DM inspiration on top of managing the production of the Dragon Heist sourcebook. And of course, special thanks to Angela and Eliza always. From the delightfully enigmatic Beth Brophy, Ilka would like to send her heartfelt thanks to our Twin Portals tech wizard John Brophy for knocking her up this summer. When science allows it, she will return the favor. From the always wonderful and upbeat Justin Peck, special thanks to Jody, Kaylee, and Corey, who never miss an episode and laugh in all the right places. Thanks to David J.R. Short for the awesome SWOJ logo. Thanks to Medium Control for teaching Lark the ins and outs of creating SWOJ t-shirts. Thanks to Aurora Webster for inspiring us with her character design. Thanks to Zed Edge for our brilliant first piece of fan art. And thanks to everyone who nerds out with us in the Twin Portals Discord. And finally, from myself, special thanks to Katie Jacobson, Aaron Moldowski, and Kendra Carlson for all their assistance and grant writing expertise. Thank you to Scott Lillo and Sound Central Production Services for being better merchants than I ever could have hoped for. Thank you to the voters of the state of Minnesota for allowing artists throughout the state to take the next step through grant funding. Thank you to the Minnesota State Arts Board and the Arrowhead Regional Arts Council for looking for new art projects through a broader lens. Thank you to John Brophy for consistently being the best technomancer around, always willing to help, always, even when he has so many demands for his skills. Thank you to the whole crew at Acquisitions Incorporated. It was their live shows that inspired me to get back on stage with a different kind of project. Thank you to the amazing Mary Fox. In 2018, when I told her I wanted to try a different type of storytelling on stage, her eyes lit up and she immediately wanted to know how we could make it happen. She encouraged me every step of the way and provided all the support I could have asked for. Thank you to Dennis Johnson for picking up the scheduling reins and being a great help in making sure SWOJ can continue to get together and tell their stories. Thank you to Robert Lee for being the living wiki for all things Twin Portals and for jumping into this world with both feet, having never rolled a D20 before in his life. Thank you, Kendra, Beth, and Justin. Thank you for your enthusiasm for this project. Thank you for your patience during the early episodes, 1 through 29, while I was learning as I went. And thank you for your dedication, continuing to tell stories through all that life throws at us. And Matthias, thank you for being you. If you're a listener who has never met Matthias, he is as kind and bright and creative as he sounds over the internet. He has handled me at my worst and never given less than his best. Thank you for letting us experience your storytelling talent, and thank you for your desire to grow and learn as we went along. And finally, thank you to Leeland Campana for use of his song Avernum as our theme song. Thank you to the Renegade Theater Company, Tiacha Zacconi, and Mary Fox for their support. And once again, thank you all so much for listening to Twin Portals.
Thank you, Matthias.
Yay! Yes!
And you thought it was going to be short.
You made up a lot of bullshit over 3 years.
You guys too, man. Thank you. That was super fun.